Test hello, test hello. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If you're tuned in early, you're watching Trojan Country, Week 1. Test, test. Bear with us here. We're on our maiden voyage of a whole new set of equipment, and we're trying to get this dialed in for you here. About 15 minutes from kickoff here at West Marshall High School football field in State Center.
How's that hot spot?
I think we're all right. We're
as long as you got enough to last the whole deal.
Yeah, right. We're on a hotspot network here, and outdoors in the bleachers. I think roughing it might be the term in the broadcast biz. I don't know. We're having fun though. It's beautiful weather. We're getting a sunset right now. We're not in the sun. That's good. We're not looking into the sun. Our South Tama crowd looking right across the field from us here at the moment. We've got a good-looking crowd filling up the away bleachers over there in black and Columbia blue. And it really is not – you couldn't ask for a better Week 1 weather, atmosphere. It feels like Friday night football. Wouldn't you say?
It's beautiful out here. We've got the sun at our back, kind of a nice little rural setting for the first game of the season.
You bet.
The teams are running through their plays, both lineups, both teams out on the field. West Marshall going through their punt team. South Tama's running through some offensive plays. Non-starters are kind of forming a wall there, so the opposing teams can't get a view at the plays or the offensive scheme from the opposing teams. 12 and a half minutes till kickoff.
Yeah, the marching band from West Marshall is getting set for their entrance here. And South Tama continues their warm-up over on their end of the field.
Coach Bridgewater, the offensive coordinator, running through the last few plays here to get the team squared away for this opening game. Talking to a lot of players and the coaches before at school today before I left, and everybody seems pretty excited. There's a lot of energy around the start of the season. It goes for every season, beginning of the season. Everybody's excited to get back out there.
All right, we got about 10 minutes left. We're going to jump into our Coach's Corner. On Tuesday of this past week, we sat down, we were standing up if you really wanted to know. We were standing up just outside of practice over at South Tama High and chatted with South Tama varsity football coach Nate Dorn. So we're going to cut to that, hear a little bit of how Coach Dorn is feeling as the season gets underway. You're listening to Trojan Country. Welcome, everyone, to Trojan Country Coach's Corner. It's going to be week 1 here in a couple days, and we're talking with South Tama head varsity football coach Nate Dorn. Nate, we're out here just after you guys finished practice today. How you feeling?
I feel good. You always have a little first day of school, got pads on, kids are a little lackadaisical a little bit, back in that routine. Yeah. But for the most part, I thought our focus was there and our intensity was there, and these kids, they worked their butts off. It's been a long time since, I'm really happy about practicing, and the way the results are and the kids' attitude has been great.
From a football standpoint, what's the experience like starting the school year with a sport like this? Kids are got, all kinds of things going on with just getting started in the classroom, getting out of that summer routine. What's the atmosphere like today? What's that experience like for you guys, kind of having to go through that with them and get them ready to go?
For the most part, we kind of prepare them. We talk about it, and the kids that have been here, they know the routine. Mm-hmm. It's just getting back into that routine from summer to here. A lot of these kids, like I said, we're into it a month already, yeah. And plus a lot of them have been coming to every single workout this summer. They've been coming to 7-on-7, so they kind of know the routine. It's the guys that haven't came that are showing up today and wanting their pads, and the guys that haven't been to school and they just got here and now they're like, can I go out for football? Great, we need those guys, but then you kind of get those glitches in the system, and you got to prepare for that, and then you got to reintroduce. We've got new administration too, right. So we've also got to acclimate for them and their ideas. They don't want us to leave school until 3:45, but we got kids getting out at 2:15. So what do I do for that hour, 45 minutes where kids are out free? So those little things are things that hiccups, but I think our kids do great, and they're good at it, and we found a routine. I think it's okay.
Yeah. You've had a whole year now to reflect on how last season went. You guys graduated quite a few seniors off of that squad. What were your takeaways kind of headed into the off season, and just kind of your thoughts as you had some space from last year's run?
Our biggest thing is we had some seniors that contributed, Jake and Bowden and all them guys, Tyler, those guys stepped up, and they were good leaders as seniors. But we have some guys this year that have really stepped up, and they want that passion. They have the passion. Their attitudes are amazing. They're leaders by doing. Okay, they're not talking back. They're not, and I'm not talking anything about them guys. I'm just saying this is how they act. Right. They want to win, and they hold people accountable. So right now, if you look at our practice right now, we got guys that missed yesterday morning's practice or were late, and they are holding them accountable, and they're doing sprints, and they're doing the extras. And those kids call them out at practice. They call each other out if somebody's doing something they don't need to do. So I'm saying this is one of the teams I've had where everybody holds accountable. Yeah. They hold each other accountable, and it's a solid group where they want to win, and they want to win together.
Yeah. You kind of touched on it a little bit. Is there anything else that seems different about this group of kids, this team at this point of the season when you look back compared to maybe some previous seasons?
Biggest thing is experience. We've got all juniors and seniors right now. Uh-huh. I don't have anybody moved up. Last year we played 7 sophomores at the varsity level, and that's just it's hard to get it done at that level, especially at 3A and the district that we're in. We're dealing with men, and we're dealing with some serious football programs at this level. And when you're trying to throw sophomores out there to the wolves, it's tough to get them prepared for that situation. But those guys now, thanks for doing that. We got juniors that have a full year of varsity under their belt, and then they're stepping up as leaders. We got juniors that played a full season last year that didn't get a whole lot of time, normally. Mm-hmm. Now they're varsity players. They're not rookies. They're not stepping up as seniors. They are juniors with a lot of ability that are now seniors that want to win.
Yep. Looking through your roster, looking through last year's kind of stat listing and everything like that, can you maybe talk a little bit about your key returners? It looks like Gavin Bridgewater, Rudy Papaki, maybe two big names on that list. Talk a little bit about them or anybody else that you think are real key returners from last year's varsity squad.
Yeah, obviously Rudy, he's a guy that's played with us since he was a freshman. He's lost a lot of weight, but put back on a lot of muscle. We've definitely changed him. Came to us as a guard and a defensive tackle, and now he's going to be our starting running back and outside linebacker. Okay. He's definitely changed his body. He's quicker than he looked. I mean, he broke in our Union game. He broke for a 60-yard touchdown, all speed on the outside. Gavin Bridgewater, he's a specimen. The kid works his butt off. He's humble about it. He's a true leader. He's that fire, that passion, and you can kind of see from that what he did at the wrestling this last year, what kind of leadership and what kind of ability he has. Nolan Upaw is another one that steps up. He's a quiet leader. He's one of those guys that keeps the troops together. He's one of those guys that did everything right in the summer, showed up, and he did it by doing. We got Kyan McBride, was a quiet guy last year as a sophomore, played one way for us. He'll be a two-way guy for us, but he's a killer. The kid wants to play football. He's a big body. He's improved his body. Another one who we got, Damian Benner, stepped up. He's really improved his body. He got some time last year for us, and now he's a senior with a lot to offer. Diego Victor is a move-in senior from us from last year. He's a quick body. He's big, but he's really fast and agile. He'll do a lot of things for us on the O-line, D-line. We also, I'm probably Ethan Cruikshank. Ethan Cruikshank has really changed his body as well. He's acclimated. He understands the safety position. We threw him out there last year at a corner position. He's never played. This year he wants to be out there. He knows what he's got to do. And we're also going to get him the opportunity to get the ball quite a bit too. So, those are some guys. And Jeremy Dolash is another one that stepped up. That's improved. He's a lot bigger than he was last year as a sophomore. Now he's a junior with a lot of experience and ready to go.
Yep. Let's talk a little bit about the line. I think one of the things that struck me last year was in some points, I can't recall if Collison played both O-line and D-line or how that worked, but you've got your lineman ending up suiting up as your quarterback by the end of the season. It seemed like you guys were a little undersized. How is the line looking this year from a size, strength, speed, all that sort of stuff? How are you feeling about your line right now?
I feel great about our line. We got a positive energy. Coach Aarons, which has been with me for about, this is going on his 12th or 13th year. We've been together as coaches here on South Tama for 2010. He gets him going. He's got a good fire, and he understands the position. We're not going to be the biggest O-line, but we are going to be a lot of experience. We have quite a few guys returning. Medina's going to be an undersized center, but the kid works his butt off. He's just one of those guys that knows where to do, and he gets himself in the right position. Damian Benner, which I said stepped up. Nathaniel Pomerez, Bubs, he stepped up and gotten bigger and better. Diego Victor moved in for us, and then Kyan McBride is another one that's going to be in that starting position for us. That will be the pulling guard. We'll really look for him to do a lot of things for us. And then we have another one that's very strong. He's a smaller body. He's a stout guy, Daryl Hill, and he'll step up as a guard position and do a lot for us as well.
Gotcha. Talk a little bit about your offense and your defense compared to what South Tama fans saw last year. Have you guys been experimenting at all? Are you looking at throwing any kind of new looks on both either the offense or defensive side?
Offensively, we switched up our offense a little bit. Nothing, too serious. We're still, basically out of the pistol. We're going to probably do some spread. But otherwise, what you've seen on Friday night at the Union game, that's pretty much what we're going to give you. Defensively, we're going to stick it back to the old school. I'm a 4-2 guy. You'll see some guys that in different positions. That's what you'll definitely see, some different bodies. Some D linemen that are now linebackers, and we'll see some linebacker types that could be playing DNs. So that's one thing you'll see is personnel. But other than that, it'll be old bread and butter for me and just, simple and stupid.
Yeah. What are some of your goals you guys are talking about as you get ready for this first week? At this point, what are you looking at from a goal standpoint?
Our goal is to continue to be intense, keep the focus, come together as a team, and win.
Looking at West Marshall, a tough team, a team that had a pretty deep run last year. What's your scouting report on them looking like? How are you guys kind of preparing for their personnel on Friday?
Same. This year is definitely different. Last year we didn't have any film on them. We had nothing on them. So we were kind of going in blind. Plus they had one of the best, one of the better offenses in the state, especially the best running back and tight end. They're still big. They're still well coached. They're still a great program. They're going to do similar to kind of stuff they did last year. Some misdirection stuff, some option stuff. Just kind of bully us. That's their game plan, is to say we're better than you between the lines, and that's what we're going to do. And we're there to step up and make a wall, and the best team may win.
Yep. You've been at this a little while now. What gets you excited at this time of year when it's hot out? You're thinking about a classroom. You're thinking about school. What gets you excited about this process in coaching this team?
To be honest, it's something maybe a little different. Sometimes it could be a smell. Sometimes, seriously, it could be like the way the grass kind of looks to a day or something. And then, you know what the biggest thing is the kids' attitudes. The attitudes, man. Just when the kids are passionate and their energy is high, I have nothing to do but be high, and I love it. And coaches is infectious for us. We were just talking about it today. It's like I was in school today, first day, doing my thing, you know, but I was ready for practice. I was like, man, I can't wait to go to practice today. It was just, there's a good energy, and these kids really have it, and it's infectious, like I said, and we're really looking forward to what this year's going to bring.
All right. Well, thanks so much for the time, Coach. Best of luck on Friday. That was South Tama head varsity football coach Nate Dorn.
I really appreciate it.
All right, welcome South Tama Trojan fans into our live broadcast. It's Trojan Country on week 1 of the Iowa high school football season. South Tama on the road tonight to take on the Trojans of West Marshall. We're over here in State Center, perched on the top row of the home bleachers. I'm Darvin Graham. I should introduce myself. I'm Darvin Graham, broadcasting with you tonight. I'm joined by Coach Nate Van Dyke. Nate, glad to have you. Great to have you here this evening. As we were talking about earlier, a beautiful evening. How you feeling about this night game coming up?
Hey, thanks for having me, Darvin. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm excited about it. Anytime we start a football season, like I said, there's a lot of excitement. Just getting ready for the coin toss here.
And South Tama out front will be...
Looks like West Marshall deferred. So I'm sure South Tama is going to receive.
And South Tama captains out to...
Looks like Gavin Bridgewater, Kyan McBride, Ethan Crickshank, Nolan Upaw, and Rudy Papaki out there for the captains for South Tama.
And after South Tama graduated a heavy class of seniors, I think there were 9 in total off of last year's roster. They're bringing back some key players, those captains, chief among them. Bridgewater and Papaki, 2 of the big contributors on the offense last year. You're very familiar with all these kids. You have them in school throughout the whole year, but both those kids on your wrestling team, what do you know about those 2 big horses?
Well, they're both state qualifiers for the wrestling team, and they both are listed at over 220 pounds. So it's going to be interesting tonight with our South Tama's beefy backfield back there. But both of them, Rudy plays 3 sports. He plays football, wrestles. He's been to the state tournament twice in wrestling, and plays soccer. He's a defender on the soccer team and a good one at that. And Bridgewater's a 4-sport athlete for us. He was in the state finals in wrestling. He ran track, and then he was an all-conference honorable mention in baseball this summer. So a couple multi-sport athletes leading the way and a couple big dudes out there.
I'd like to run through our broadcast sponsors here while we're getting ready for the kickoff. Gary Bach, State Farm Insurance, Mercy Care Tama, Iowa Premium, S&S Car Wash, State Bank of Toledo, Medicap Pharmacy, Appraisal and Real Estate Services, The Pump, Assured Partners in Toledo, and Dallas Berm Exit Holes Realty. We want to thank all those local businesses for joining with us here for this fall season in Trojan Country. And here we are ready for the kickoff.
Looks like Bridgewater and Upaw back to return for the Trojans.
And number 32 for West Marshall, that's going to be Ethan Gilbo, a freshman, to kick. Bridgewater receives up the left side, gets tangled up, brought down.
So it looks like about a 10-yard return there, and South Tama is going to start from the 20-yard line.
All right. South Tama last year, a 2-7 season. Their wins coming against Sadell and Center Point Urbana. Against West Marshall, this team last year took a big loss. It was at home, 45-6. Again, the opener for the Trojans. And it'll be quarterback Gavin Bridgewater to line up for South Tama. In the backfield is Rudy Papaki. Trojans send one in motion. Rolling to the right. Bridgewater, the keeper, and he's brought down maybe a yard on the play. Not much there.
Looked like a quarterback sweep attempt. They had Mathis and Papaki as well as Crookshank out front, but not a lot going there. Maybe a gain of 1.
If you're just tuning in, opening moments of the first quarter, 0-0, South Tama on their first drive on the 24-yard line. 2nd and 9. Trojans looking to get something going here. Upaw splits off wide to the right. 2 receivers on the left. Bridgewater with 2 in the backfield. The snap in the shotgun. Bridgewater, again a keeper, sweeping to the left. A little bit of room to run, gets some contact, but goes right down, short of a first.
Like a quarterback ISO is the intention there. Papaki leading the way. Bridgewater had to kind of bounce it to the outside to the left there.
So that'll make 3rd and 4th on the 30-yard line for South Tama. A manageable 3rd down here, but not much happening up front.
And
not
we'll
much
see
room
if
to
they
run.
look to run with Bridgewater again or give one to Papaki here. Papaki lined up right behind him.
Bridgewater, the snap. Pitches to Papaki. Papaki covered up. And that'll go down short of a first, bringing up 4th down.
Well, Papaki bounced off the first tackler, but then there was a swarm of West Marshall Trojans that followed behind.
And that's going to really stay about right at the line of scrimmage, making it 4th and 4. Still on the 30. South Tama considering it here. I'm not seeing Papaki going back to line up for a punt just yet, so maybe they're going to roll the dice.
It's like Bridgewater still calling the play in there, but Papaki will
Now
drop
Papaki,
back
there
to
he
punt.
goes. So
And Papaki was a punter for the South Tama Trojans a year ago.
Right.
Kind of goes with the rugby-style punt, moving to his right. It's going to be a short,
Bounces
shanked punt.
out of bounds near the 46-yard line in South Tama territory. So the West Marshall Trojans will have a short field to start. 10-11 in the first quarter if you're just tuning in here at West Marshall High School.
So South Tama goes 3 and out on their first possession. Let's see if they can get something going on defense here, but West Marshall taking over the ball for the first time tonight.
Quickly, we'll get this play in here, and then we'll introduce you to the South Tama defensive starters. Quarterback for West Marshall's Peyton Hart.
Looks like somebody jumped possibly defensively there.
So not a good way to start things off.
West Marshall lined up in a shotgun formation. They had a running back to both the right and the left of the quarterback. They were spread out to the right, which is the wide side of the field there.
So a 5-yard penalty puts the ball right on the 40-yard line in South Tama territory. 1st and 5. The West Marshall Trojans and quarterback Peyton Hart. He led this team all the way into the playoffs last season. Here's his first action. A pass to number 4, Graham Nason. Good enough for a first down. Moves the chains for West Marshall.
And Hart and Nason hooked up quite a bit last year. Hart had over 700 passing yards last year. Nason is the leading returner in receiving yards from a year ago. Nason had 304 yards receiving with 33 yards per catch and 2 touchdowns.
So a decent group of offensive contributors coming back from that playoff team for West Marshall. They're missing Preston Pope, the big running back from last year. He graduated, and so they're looking to see who's going to fill those shoes in the backfield. Now it is 1st and 10 on the 32. Hart up the right side, room to run, breaks a couple of tackles, still moving down to the 5, and it's going to be touchdown West Marshall with 9:56 on the scoreboard, first quarter.
So Hart with a 30-yard touchdown there, and he's no stranger to the ground game. He had over 700 yards passing a year ago, as well as over 1,000 yards rushing for West Marshall.
So 2 quarterbacks here tonight that are not afraid of contact, not afraid to to tuck it and run. A penalty on the PAT. Coming from South Tama's side of the field.
Take a false start on the offense, so move them back 5 yards and try it again.
Starters, let's see here, we'll get the PAT. To kick the PAT, it's going to be number 11, Dawson Goodman. For West Marshall, again,
and
another
this
whistle.
one might be on the defense. They might move back to the original line of scrimmage here for the PAT.
All right. So a third time. Say special teams. You know, you're trying to get everything in. Maybe special teams falls to the wayside a little bit in week 1. So we're back where we started, and it'll be Goodman again to line up for the PAT. If you're just tuning in, West Marshall just scored. We got about 9:56 on the clock in the first quarter. It was quarterback Peyton Hart with about a 20-25 yard run. And that'll make the score 7-0. West Marshall leading in the first quarter.
So with one possession in the books for both teams and 10 minutes left in the first quarter, West Marshall leads 7-0. Looks like Bridgewater and UPaw will be back to receive once again for the Trojans of South Tama. 2 Trojan teams here tonight.
Yeah, if you didn't know, we got Trojan Bowl going on here at West Marshall. South Tama and West Marshall, former NICL compatriots, maybe a better word, I don't know. They were together in the NICL for a time. We've been seeing them a lot lately. A nice, good competitor, similar size school. So good to see them as kind of maybe a budding rivalry. Who knows? 9:56 on the scoreboard. South Tama trailing 7-0. Again, quickly, thank you to our sponsors: Gary Bach State Farm Insurance, Mercy Care Tama, Iowa Premium, S&S Car Wash, State Bank of Toledo, and Medicap Pharmacy. They're bringing you this broadcast. We thank them for their support. Make sure you support your local businesses in the Tama Toledo community. Here's the kick.
Looks like he's fielded by Papaki this time.
Papaki wrapped up at first contact around the 20-yard line again, looking very familiar to our first drive of this game. So with 9:51 on the clock in the first quarter, 1st and 10 for South Tama. Ball on the 20-yard line. Quickly to run through South Tama's offensive starters: at quarterback, Gavin Bridgewater; Jeremy Dolash at a tight end; Nolan Upaw at wide receiver; Rudy Papaki at running back; Ethan Cruikshank at a wing back; Cyrus Mathis at fullback. Offensive line is Damian Castellanos, Diego Victor, Kyan McBride, Nathaniel Palmeras, and Miguel Medina. The pass is incomplete.
Not a lot of time for Bridgewater back there. He had to kind of get rid of it very quickly.
So some pressure to the quarterback to start here in this second drive for South Tama. The score 7-0. And the Trojans just looking to find something positive. Just one play, a first down. That's really what they need to build on here. We'll see if they can find it with 2nd and 10 on the 20. Bridgewater, again the snap, fakes the handoff, throws right, but it's high, looking for Cruikshank, and it goes out of bounds, bringing up 3rd down.
Bridgewater flashed the ball to Papaki with a little play action, and then it was kind of a quick screen out to Ethan Cruikshank on the wide side of the field. Again, not a lot of time back there for Bridgewater to work. So we're 3rd and 10.
3rd and 10 for South Tama. Just looking for anything to get clicking here. Upaw on the near side, split white. Again, 2 receivers off to the left. Cruikshank. And it'll be Bridgewater to pass. A short pass to Papaki. He's got room to run. And he's going past the 35-yard line. Close right there. Ran into the the chain gang. So
looks like a little screen to Papaki on the left side. Nice little play there. And Papaki shows a little nimbleness, working his way toward the sticks.
And wouldn't you love to get that big body and just get some momentum going behind that running back? And that's exactly kind of where he can shine and show what he can do.
Yeah, he should be good for breaking one tackler at least.
It's true.
Rudy had some playing time as a freshman. He's now a senior. They brought him up about halfway through the season. Weighed
Right.
about 220 pounds, but then his sophomore year he was about 250. Full-time starter on the line. And then last year he started to get some carries in short down situations, using his big body to lean a little bit in goal line situations, 3rd and short. Now he's the full-time starter at running back. But he's pretty nimble for a big man.
And yeah, I think that just speaks to his athleticism, probably his participation in multiple sports, and just learning how to use his body as a high schooler. That can be challenging for kids at this age. So
looks like probably a holding penalty.
So South Tama will get marched back into their own red zone here, facing a 3rd down, 3rd and long.
Yeah, you call it 3rd and 25. It looks like
almost 24 maybe, but 3rd and a prayer here for South Tama. They just need to protect the ball, not turn it over for a safety. Bridgewater catches the snap. Crookshank in motion.
Not a lot of time. He's in his end zone. Hits Castellanos.
That was Castellanos catching an errant pass that got knocked high in the air.
South Tama's back 7 more yards, it looks like.
That'll bring up 4th and even longer for South Tama. So it'll be Papaki likely punting from his own end zone. 9:09 in the first quarter. South Tama facing 4th down. 4th and 29 is what we're seeing from the scoreboard here.
So Rudy Papaki looks like he's going to punt from his end zone. They do a little rugby punt. He kind of sprints out to his right and kind of punts it on the run. This time he just takes a couple steps.
Papaki gets the ball off, rolls near the 40-yard line.
Ethan Crookshank, first player down with a nice little open field tackle there.
That was Peyton Hart on the reception, so nice one-on-one against one of West Marshall's top athletes. However, the field position game still puts West Marshall at a big advantage with 8:39 in the first quarter. 1st and 10, West Marshall starting on their 41-yard line.
Yeah, I think Peyton Hart does a lot for West Marshall, just looking at his stats from last year, and 1,000 yards on the ground, 700 in the air, and like to have a returner like that.
Oh, yeah. So West Marshall will put 2 receivers to the far side and 2 backs in the backfield for Hart. Little miscommunication from the sideline. West Marshall coach letting him hear it.
Looks like they're going no huddle. He was trying to signal something in. He must have saw something in South Tama's defense there. South Tama's in that 4-4 defensive formation, 4 down linemen, 4 linebackers, and there's a flag before the play.
It'll be against West Marshall. And a 5-yard penalty takes the ball down to the 46-yard line in South Tama territory. So a little bit of a break here, but South Tama, neither of these teams can, you can't rely on penalties to carry you through a game. You got to make your own way. 1st and 15 now for Hart and the Trojans.
Yeah, we've had quite a few penalties already
to
start off. And sometimes that's the first game.
Yeah.
First game jitters, get things figured out after a few games under your belts. Play action.
Hart will keep it, but he's wrapped up almost immediately. That was the number 70. I don't have that one on my roster here, but.
Looks like Diego Victor.
Okay.
He's listed at 60 on the roster.
So Victor with the tackle.
Victor starting at defensive end and offensive line for South Tama. He was a transfer at the end of the football season last year from the Meskwaki Settlement School. So first game playing as a Trojan.
2nd and 15 for West Marshall. Again on the no huddle. They look to the sidelines. Clock running 7:56 in the first quarter.
And the play clock down to 1 second.
Woo. So that is Martin Holgan with the reception, taking it
Just a quick screen out to the right side of the field that puts a receiver against a cornerback one-on-one. And if you can break one tackle, you're getting positive yards. Looks like they picked up about 6.5 yards there.
2nd and 9 now, ball on the 40-yard line for West Marshall. Trying to put a drive together amid some starts and stops with penalties here in this first quarter. That first touchdown for West Marshall, if you're just tuning in, came off about a 20-yard run from Peyton Hart. Other than that, it's really not been any kind of continuous offense on either side. Hart will keep it up the middle, covered up, short of the first down. Looks like it was Damian Castellanos in there. Now 4th down.
4th and 6, it looks like. West Marshall, kind of interesting. Looks like they run a play in every time with a skilled player, but then once they get set at the line, looks like Hart kind of looks over to the coach, and once in a while they'll call an audible from the sideline there. But they've got trips to the left here.
Hart again pausing. I think this is just going to be the rhythm we're going to have tonight from this West Marshall offense. Hart looking left. Pressure. And he's down.
Diego Victor with a sack coming around the right
smokes.
side there from defensive end, making an impact here in his first game as a Trojan.
Nice looking sack from South Tama's Diego Victor. And that'll turn it over. Well, no, wait.
Yeah, that was 4th down.
Turn it over, 4th down.
Okay, so West Marshall on their first drive with a score from Hart. Second drive goes 4 and out.
I'd like to say thank you to these sponsors: Appraisal and Real Estate Services, The Pump, Assured Partners in Toledo, and Dallas Berm Exit Holes Realty. Thank you to those folks for their support of Trojan Country this fall season. We're going to be bringing you football and volleyball coverage throughout this fall season. We're excited to be just interacting with the South Tama community this year.
South Tama with a tight end to the right side. They're going to give it to Papaki just outside the tight end, and he's going to get positive yards, about 4 yards there for Rudy Papaki.
So South Tama starts their next drive with positive yardage. Good start to this first series. That'll bring up 2nd and about 6. We got 5:55 on the first quarter clock. Still 7-0. Upa again on the near side. No other receivers out for Bridgewater. He'll keep it.
Tight end to the left, Bridgewater. Again, I think it was designed to be an inside runner, an ISO, but again, having to bounce it to the outside.
And Bridgewater is covered and smothered like Outback Steakhouse, and brought down for a 3rd down. 3rd and 5 for South Tama.
And Bridgewater's not the easiest guy to take down out there. He's a big kid too, and
right.
Just about as tough as they come.
Right.
Super competitor there. Castellanos running the play in.
All right, here it'll be Bridgewater with Papaki in the backfield. Bridgewater rolling right.
Castellanos and Papaki leading the way.
Nice looking blocks for Bridgewater. He'll get it. That's got to be a 1st down. Very close to the line there, but I think he's going to have it.
So they had their fullback and their wingback both on the right side of the field that time, and they led with all of them, as well as Papaki out of the backfield. Bridgewater had a little bit of a wall in front of him there.
So that'll bring up 1st down, 1st and 10. The Trojans' first down conversion, and that'll make it 1st and 10 on the 43 into West Marshall territory. South Tama just a little bit of momentum here with 4:39 on the first quarter clock. Crookshank in motion, pitch left. Crookshank, little momentum, finds a hole, and he sprints into the defensive backfield. 1st down, South Tama.
So kind of an old school wing T look. They line up Crookshank on the right side. They put their tight end to the left side opposite Crookshank, motioning Crookshank behind Bridgewater. And he took a toss around the left side with Papaki lead blocking. So nice little run by Crookshank there. I believe that's his first touch of the night.
Yeah. Missed the pass early in the first quarter, but just a nice sequence there, getting the blocks together, Crookshank putting the speed down the field, kind of a downhill thing, and we got 1st and 10 on the 33. South Tama moving along here.
Now a toss to Papaki the other way.
Papaki, nice stiff
and
arm.
He sheds one tackler.
And he's covered up, but not after a positive gain.
Good strong run by Papaki. You'd like to see
a little more
just one more lead blocker out in front of him.
A little more horizontal than vertical maybe there, but.
Yeah, big as he is, if he starts going north and south, he's going to be tough to tackle.
Right. Second and 7 for South Tama on the West Marshall 30. It's 3:25 as the first quarter clock continues to roll here at West Marshall Field. It's week 1 of high school football action. South Tama against West Marshall. Here's Bridgewater, quarterback keeper, dives ahead. A couple yards on that one, not enough for a first down.
Double tight end set, no wide guys. ISO to Bridgewater, keeping it simple.
I'd like to say thank you to S&S Car Wash. S&S Car Wash provides both automatic and hand wash services as well as detailing for your vehicle. S&S Car Wash, your local car wash destination with convenient locations in Tama and Toledo. Thanks for their support this season. 2:42 as South Tama marches to the line with 3rd and 5. Bridgewater and Papaki. They've been, and a bumbled snap there.
Bridgewater trying to make something out of it, going around the left side.
Down. Nice looking, kind of working on his toes there a little bit, improvising. Gavin Bridgewater makes it 3 first downs in a row. Just South Tama chunking these things together here.
It's nice when you have someone back there at quarterback who's a little savvy about the sport of football as well.
Right.
Ball touches the ground, pick it up, find the open space.
1st and 10 in the red zone on West Marshall's 12-yard line. Crookshank in motion, takes the pitch. Another nice looking running lane. He's gobbled up near the 12-yard line and brought down.
It was the same thing we saw last time on Crookshank's last carry to the left side. Now they bring it back to the right.
And so 2nd and 8. That will make it for South Tama. Miguel Medina, the center, sprinting up to set things up here for South Tama's next play. Bridgewater in the shotgun, Papaki in the backfield. Papaki, the handoff, pulling a tackler with him, but just again not any room in front of him, and like to see a blocker or two there.
So that was a counter. They did the same exact motion with Crookshank as they did on Crookshank's last couple carries. So they had the whole backfield going to the left, and they tried to bring Papaki to the right. So a little deception there on the counter.
So no gain on the play makes it 3rd and 8. Ball on the 15-yard line. South Tama trying to cap off a drive here that has just been a methodical, no big plays. Couple 10, 12, 15-yarders. And here's Gavin Bridgewater. Under a minute to go. Bridgewater under center, quarterback keeper just plunging ahead into the West Marshall defense.
Gets a couple yards worth a shot.
Couple yards, yeah.
Little quarterback sneak.
And if it's going to be a field goal, Ethan Crookshank looks to be the kicker for the Trojans, but he was not really, he kicked PATs last season, but he did not line up for many field goal opportunities. So we'll see what offensive coordinator Coach Bridgewater dials up here.
And it didn't look like there was anybody coming in and out off the field or back on the field, so I think we're going for it here. 4th and 4.
And I think they're going to let the clock run out here. Waning seconds of the first quarter, we will flip the field for quarter number 2. 7-0, South Tama trailing against West Marshall in week 1. There goes the first quarter bell. We're going to take a quick moment to thank some of our sponsors here. Gary Bach, State Farm Insurance. When you can get good neighbor service and surprisingly great insurance rates at State Farm, because State Farm agent Gary Bach is your one-stop shop in Tama, Toledo for the service you deserve at the price you want. So stop looking around. State Farm agent Gary Bach is ready to help. Call 641-484-3163 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements. Also, thank you to Iowa Premium. Iowa Premium brings premium family farm-raised, corn-fed Black Angus beef to the market. Expertly hand-trimmed, every piece of beef, the staff at Iowa Premium hand packs and inspects every box to ensure quality control. Dedicated to delivering a superior beef product to customers around the world. Thanks to Iowa Premium for their support of Trojan Country this season. So we're going to move things down the field.
South Tama gave up the quick score to West Marshall on West Marshall's opening possession, but now it looks like South Tama's got something going here. We've had 11 plays on this drive so far.
South Tama really doing their damage on the ground. And for a new quarterback, plenty of new faces. I don't want to say the whole offense is brand new, but it's a new group of kids, a new composition to this offense. Not a surprise to see a run-focused first half of this game for South Tama.
And I think Bridgewater's forte is going to be on the ground. They're going to have to mix in some passing just to keep teams honest, but he played quite a bit I think he was a fullback last year, so. No passes this drive, 11 plays. About 65 yards.
So that'll set up 4th and 5. South Tama going for it here to start the second quarter. Crookshank in motion. It'll be the pitch. He catches it, gets a block from Papaki, but there's West Marshall, and it'll be a stop short of the first down. 2 defenders there for the West Marshall Trojans collapsed right on Ethan Crookshank, and he just had nowhere to go there. So that'll turn it over in West Marshall territory. 1st and 10 for the West Marshall Trojans on the 14-yard line. Peyton Hart coming back out to see if they can widen the lead here against the black and blue. Hart under center, hands off, and that'll be a run from number 6, West Marshall's Tristan Tzingi.
And Crookshank on the tackle. They went to West Marshall went to an I formation and came right at South Tama with an ISO.
Just over 30 seconds away in the second quarter here at West Marshall High School. 2nd and 1 for the Trojans after a nice-looking run to start off this drive. Again, a handoff to the right. This time, it's number 10, Peyton Hart, quarterback keeper. That'll be enough to move the chains. 1st and 10 now for the Trojans. '22 marks the 95th year in business for the State Bank of Toledo. Since opening in 1927, the State Bank of Toledo supports its customers with loyal, friendly, and fair customer service. Member FDIC. Thanks to the members at State Bank of Toledo for their support of Trojan Country. So here it is, 1st and 10. Ball on the 31 for West Marshall. Little misdirect there. All kinds of room for number 6. Near the first down.
And West Marshall comes back with a counter of their own. They went to that I formation for a play, and now they're back into their shotgun spread look with the running back to either side of Hart.
That'll bring up 1st and 10 on the 42-yard line. Still in West Marshall territory. West Marshall trying to march it down the field here. So far, West Marshall's really had the only threat in the red zone as South Tama just couldn't get another play to extend their last drive.
And West Marshall lined back up in the I formation. It was just a dive to the fullback up the middle. Not much going on there, though.
So that'll set up 2nd and down. 2nd and 10. Still around the 42-yard line is West Marshall's offense here. Juan Robles on the tackle for the Trojans. Big body in the middle there, kind of at a nose tackle.
And another nice stop.
Cyrus Mathis getting in, stopping a short run there from West Marshall.
Yeah, Robles is listed at 350 pounds. He's a starting nose tackle for South Tama, so he's going to plug a lot of holes in the interior there.
3rd and 7 with 9:51 in the second quarter. 3rd and 7 on the 46-yard line is West Marshall here, trying to add to their lead. Scored early in the first quarter and now driving here in the second. Hart, the keeper, up the left. Couple yards and then brought down by 2 or 3 South Tama Trojans.
So this will be an interesting call here. They're right about midfield. 4th and 4, looks like they're bringing their punt crew out. Probably a smart call.
Tackle by Cyrus Mathis brings up 4th and 3rd. For the Trojans. Back to punt is Hart, and to receive for South Tama is Ethan Crookshank, the lone punt receiver, and a whistle. It'll be a timeout. While we have a moment, again, thank you to Medicap Pharmacy. Medicap Pharmacy in Toledo offers free medication packaging and free delivery to surrounding areas. Call 484-6198. Medicap Pharmacy, we're always there for you. Thank you to The Pump. The Pump is Tama Toledo's #1 bar and grill, located in downtown Tama at 218 West 3rd Street. The Pump serves up cold drinks, a warm atmosphere, and an amazing lunch on the regular. On September 17, during the Tama Toledo Car Show, make sure to check out their Best Burger Hamburger Contest. Stop by The Pump between now and September for all the details or to sign up. Thank you to Assured Partners in Toledo, your independent insurance agency specializing in home, auto, business, farm, and crop insurance. Thank you to Assured Partners for their support. 8:59 in the second quarter, 4th and 4. Again, punt formation for West Marshall.
I think the first thing you do if you're West Marshall is go on a hard count. You go on 2, you try to draw South Tama off sides, then you got a first down.
And they'll go right to the punt. Hart gets it away clean. Crookshank receives near the 15-yard line. And really nowhere to run. Crookshank did his best to kind of step around the bodies there, but too many West Marshall Trojans flying at him to...
Yeah, he shook off a few tackles, but there was too many bodies in the black jerseys there. As far as West Marshall goes, last year they put together quite a nice little run. They were 9-2 overall. Their last meeting with South Tama was a year ago, and West Marshall won the contest 45-6. The West Marshall Trojans went all the way to the Class 2A state quarterfinals before their season ended with a loss to Williamsburg by a score of 6-32.
So now it's 1st and 10 for South Tama on the 24-yard line, their own 24, with 8:47 to go in the first quarter. Handoff to Papaki, and he's stuffed in the middle. That'll bring up, he lost a yard on the play, so 2nd and 12 it looks like. 2nd and maybe 11.
Could be a passing down here for South Tama. I haven't seen one of those in a couple series.
Couple early.
Most of what we've seen from Bridgewater through the Gator Bowl, through their scrimmage, and the first quarter of this game was just little quick screens and things of that nature.
So it'll be Crookshank and Jeremy Dolash in the
and it's a quarterback ISO.
Quarterback keeper. Oh, a smashing Stiff arm by Gavin Bridgewater as he pounds his way for a first down.
Good way to finish off that run.
Yeah. We got a South Tama Trojan down on the field. Not quite sure who that is. I can't see a number.
So South Tama sticks to the ground game on 2nd and long. The last series for South Tama, they had a 12-play series. It was all Bridgewater, Papaki, and Crookshank on the ground. That drive probably went for about 65 yards before they stalled out inside the 20-yard line of West Marshall. So it's been pretty even.
Yeah, absolutely.
After the first 2 drives.
Pardon the shifting video here. We're trying to get our camera straightened out.
And it might be number 70, Diego Victor, on the ground there, but they're working on his leg.
Yeah, that's going to be 70, like you said. He's been a big body in this first half.
Yeah, he had the big sack on 3rd down.
Right. Right. So just not good to see a new face and a promising start here. Kind of cut short. We'll see how his rest of the game goes. While we have another moment, thank you to Dallas Berm Exit Halls Realty. When you're looking for a new home or farmland, why not seek the counsel of a friend who happens to know the housing market better than the back of their hand? Dallas Berm at Exit Halls Realty can answer all your questions regarding securing a mortgage and providing valuable information to your family. Exit Halls Realty knows Trojan Country and can expect an expert consultation on current property values. Call Dallas Berm at 319-360-1592 to start looking for your new home. And remember, buy with Berm.
And it looks like Diego Victor walking off the field, helped out by Coach Dorn and Coach Ahrens. Coach Cord Ahrens has been the offensive defensive line for South Tama for 13 seasons now. He played college football at Waldorf College, played center for Waldorf. So it's 1st and 10 for South Tama, ball on the 36-yard line.
With 7:47 on the clock. South Tama looking to convert. Quarterback keeper, Bridgewater, nowhere to go.
And, man, there was 4 West Marshall players there right out on the edge. Rudy Papaki was leading around the outside. He made a good block on one of them.
But West Marshall sniffed that play out right from the get. Tackle for a short loss. That'll bring up 2nd down with 7:18 left in the first half. Quarter number 2 here. Live from West Marshall Field. South Tama still it's a 1-score game. We've been in the middle of the field practically the whole way.
It's been pretty even after that slow start.
Yeah. Here goes Bridgewater with Papaki in the backfield.
4 receivers.
Bridgewater looking to throw, gets pressure, dumps it off to Papaki. Nice touch there. Rudy Papaki kind of saved an incomplete. Not much yardage on the play, but a nice-looking grab there by South Tama's running back. Third and 12 now on the 34-yard line.
And we've got to see another pass here by South Tama, don't we? Last time it was long yardage. They sent Bridgewater up the middle for a first down, so wouldn't be a bad time for another screen. Quarterback draw.
And it'll be Bridgewater in the shotgun. Papaki right behind. On 3rd down. A big 3rd down here.
And he's going to drop back.
Bridgewater evades. Moving through, and he'll get brought down for a sack. That 2 or 3 West Marshall Trojans.
Gosh, Bridgewater almost had a little bit of a pocket there. He kind of stepped up in there and kind of looked to run, I think. But then he had a defensive lineman hanging on his belt.
Yeah. That'll set up 4th down, 4th and long, almost 20 yards there to go. And so back to receive the punt. It's going to be either Peyton Hart or Graham Nason. Papaki's punt, this time more of a traditional looking punt. Sends it right to Hart.
Oh, nice tackle in there.
That was, who do you got there? That looked like number 6, but I don't have a 6.
I think it was Kyan McBride, number 61. So the big offensive lineman getting down there.
Oh, you'll love to see that.
And he just had a handful of jersey and was able to hang on.
Just kind of
utilizing that grip strength.
Right.
Okay, so 4th possession here for West Marshall. We've had no turnovers yet in the game with 5 minutes remaining in the half.
5:08 in the second. And it'll be Hart and West Marshall trying to find their stride. Even though West Marshall's been leading here, South Tama's defense is.
They're going back to that I formation.
2 receivers off wide for Hart.
And it's an ISO.
Down the middle. His number 6 carry of about 7 yards there. That'll set up 2nd down.
So fullback just leading the way there. Running back tucked in right behind him.
4:45 on the second quarter clock. 2nd and 4 on the 44.
South Tama with 4 down linemen. Cyrus Mathis on the outside linebacker moves up. I formation. Cyrus is going to stunt.
Fake handoff. Hart looking deep. He's got a receiver. Oh, and it sails through the hands of number 1, Martin Holgan. Incomplete.
And Jose Demetrio Ortega on the defense. This is his first year in the starting lineup for South Tama. But that ball just went right through the hands.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Yep. First game jitters maybe there for.
Could have been a big play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could have been a big play. Play action from the I formation. Every time they've ran that formation, it's either been dive or ISO when they go play action over the top.
And that's going to set up 3rd and 4th on the 44 for the gold and black Trojans. Beautiful weather here as the sun's gone down just a moment ago.
Quarterback keeper.
And that'll be enough for a 1st down. West Marshall moving the chains late into the first half, trying to put some points up here as the first score came early in the first quarter for West Marshall, and it's been back and forth ever since. Diego Victor, we can see him trying to maybe run out that cramp or whatever he had going on there. He looks like we might see him yet.
Yeah, a lot of times if kids don't take care of their bodies, and it's a hydration thing, it's a nutrition thing, especially in the first game. Playing a game is a little bit different than practicing sometimes as far as effort level.
Right. Here's Hart going to hand off. Big room to run up the sideline, breaking a big run is number 6, Tristan Tazingi. I don't know the kid's name. I don't think it's the name I just announced. I think Gonzalez is what I'm hearing from the PA. I don't have that one on my roster, so.
Gonzalez is their leading returning rusher, other than Hart. He had about 250 yards rushing last year as a sophomore, I believe.
So that moves the chains, sets things up for West Marshall with 4 minutes to go on the second quarter clock. Peyton Hart under center, a handoff. Goes right back to Gonzalez, I think.
And Rudy Papaki with a nice little stop in there from the linebacker position.
Just Papa bears him right into the backfield.
Yeah, he drove him back about 5 yards, didn't he?
So that'll be 2nd and 8. 2nd and 7 we're hearing from the scoreboard.
Ball's on the 15-yard line. Back to the shotgun formation. Got a running back to either side. One back goes in motion.
Now it's going to be hard on a keeper, and he's wrapped up in the backfield.
Great open field tackle by Damian Castellanos. From outside linebacker. Now I think that was it looked very similar to the long run that they had around the right side, where the quarterback Hart actually gave it to his running back, and that might be a read option. The quarterback holds the ball, and if he sees the defensive end go toward the running back, he's going to keep it.
Yep.
Or he can give it.
2:52 as the clock ticking down here. Last moments of the second quarter. West Marshall in the red zone, 3rd and 10 on the 18-yard line. Faked handoff, Hart to throw, right down the middle, connects. Good for a first down. That was number 4, Graham Nason. We talked about him earlier. Big connection between those two.
They've probably been playing football together for quite a long time, I'm guessing.
First and third on the third. First and goal on the third, I should say.
And they're still in the shotgun. See what South Tama can do in the goal line here.
Hart looks like he's going to keep it. Gets a block from Gonzalez.
He's going to get
in for a touchdown. It's going to be West Marshall. Both touchdowns coming from quarterback Peyton Hart. He had all kinds of tight game, big game experience into last season, and he's been leading his team here tonight against South Tama.
So South Tama is going to have to turn around here with about 2 minutes and 16 seconds left on the clock. Put a quick drive together.
The PAT is up, and it's good. Making the score 14-0. South Tama trailing by 2 touchdowns as we near halftime.
Well, I guess we'll get to see if South Tama's been working on their 2-minute drill.
Right. I'd like to say thank you to Mercy Care Tama. Mercy Care Tama is a proud supporter of South Tama County High School sports. The dedicated staff at Mercy Care Tama offer you and your family the highest quality professional care enhanced by the Mercy Touch. Somebody we're missing on the sidelines, Dr. Jerry Willie, retired earlier this year. He's been a big supporter of South Tama sports, and we're happy to have Mercy Care Tama and those dedicated healthcare professionals sticking with us here in 2022. And
looks like Papaki and Bridgewater back to return. See what the offensive coordinator, Coach Jared Bridgewater, can dial up here to finish off the first half. Bridgewater's been the offensive coordinator for, this is his 2nd year. He's also an assistant baseball coach for South Tama, as well as the father of the quarterback out there.
Yeah. So it's going to be Gavin Bridgewater and Rudy Papaki back deep to receive. The kick is up, straight down the gullet. Papaki picks it up. Contact near the 25-yard line, and he goes down. Setting up a 1st and 10. Just short of the 25-yard line. Excuse me, no, 27-yard line, I'm sorry. As a tight game winds on here, South Tama not a deep bench when we're looking at our rosters tonight. I've got 1 page full of South Tama names. We got 2 full pages full of West Marshall names. And so conditioning, endurance going to be a factor here if South Tama puts something together here in the second half. Bridgewater to throw. Connects with Crookshank. Crookshank breaks the tackle a couple of yards up. Short of a first down, but a completion by Ethan Crookshank.
And that's a good start. It looks like Diego Victor is back in there on the offensive line, so that's good to see. South Tama had a A few players come out this week, being as it was the first week of school. Got a couple new recruits, so I think maybe they'll add 5 or so to the roster.
There you go. Bridgewater.
He's got a little bit of room.
There he
got out of bounds.
Kind of stutter step there, and then just put on the gas near a first down, as you said.
Looks like they're flipping that 3rd down marker over, though. A couple yards to go.
Minute 38 on the clock in the second quarter. South Tama would love to get on the board here, trailing 14-0.
Bridgewater did stop the clock by getting out of bounds there.
And it'll be 3rd and 2 for Bridgewater and the Trojans. Papaki and Mathis in the backfield.
Oh.
Flags all over the place as Bridgewater just goes down to the ground.
So they're running what looks like a double wing T a little bit, and both of their wings went in motion at the same time, and that's a big no-no. You could only send one guy in motion.
So a little lesson to be learned here in the first quarter for South Tama as they're working their ironing out their offense. They'll set themselves back 5 yards.
Minute 33 left in the half.
And so West Marshall's going to decline the penalty, and they're going to leave it where it's at.
That might have been a smart call.
Yeah. We'll see if it pays off. That brings up 4th and 2. South Tama's got some big bodies up front. Let's see if they can just push it ahead here. Make West Marshall think twice about their decision. Minute 33 on the second quarter clock. And South Tama with a big 4th down.
Looks like the chain gang worker accidentally moved the marker.
Uh-oh.
Before the West Marshall declined the penalty, so the ball's still sitting just outside the 30. Okay, so we've got 4th and 7.
Okay. And it'll be Papaki to punt. So South Tama will get it out of harm's way, or at least attempt to, with under 2 minutes to go in the first half. Papaki, a short punt, just a line drive up the right side of the field, rolls down to the 35-yard line, and South Tama picks it up. West Marshall leaving nothing to chance there. And that'll set up Hart and company. See if they can tack on more damage before the halftime break.
South Tama probably hated to give the ball back there.
Yeah. With
a little bit of time on the clock. They've got 1 minute and 23 seconds left here in the half. 14-0 going into halftime seems a little bit more manageable than 21.
Absolutely. And, a lot of positive things to remark on for Coach Dorn and his coaching staff to kind of help build things, kind of build the structure and the narrative going into the third quarter. A short run for West Marshall, stopped by the South Tama interior. Will set up 2nd down.
West Marshall might be a little conservative here. They might be okay with the 14-0 lead. Let's not turn the ball over, they're thinking.
2nd and 5 on the 42-yard line with just now under a minute, 57 seconds. And West Marshall may be working some clock here, too.
Yeah, they're taking their time.
2 receivers off right. Hart in the shotgun.
And there's that read option.
And a nice block there from number 4 on the West Marshall side. Sends Hart way down the field. But a flag on the play.
And it's probably going to be a hold here.
Looks like West Marshall's headed backwards. 36 seconds yet on the clock.
36 seconds. Let's see if West Marshall's willing to air it out here or play it conservative, keep it on the ground, and run the half out. Take they're going back to their I formation.
Yeah, they've had success on the corners. You got to think run here with how well they've been doing.
Play action pass.
Oh, and he's going to prove me wrong. Deep throw down the field. Oh, and it's complete. Number 13. I apologize. I'm trying to announce and move the camera.
Ike. Looks like Jace Ike, a sophomore.
That was a nice looking catch.
That was a good throw and catch.
Yep.
They went play action out of the I formation, and Ike just got a step on Demetrio Ortega on the corner there. Ortega was right there to make the tackle, but the damage had been done.
Right. 19 seconds left on the clock, second quarter. And it's West Marshall threatening again into South Tama territory after a big throw down the field from Peyton Hart.
You got to give it to West Marshall. They could have easily ran out the clock there and went in 14-0. Went play action, threw one over the top, and now they've got 19 seconds and they're thinking touchdown here.
You bet. Quick timeout on the field. We're going to say thank you to State Farm Insurance. You might know that State Farm agent Gary Bach has great service. He is your good neighbor after all, but did you know that State Farm has surprisingly great rates too? Along with good customer service, State Farm agent Gary Bach has surprisingly great rates for everyone in the South Tama community. So call Gary Bach State Farm at 641-484-3163 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. "19 seconds on the clock as South Tama trying to hold fast here after a big reception from the West Marshall offense. Hart and company will maybe look for a little audible here. Hart looking to throw again. Going for it. Down the field. And it's caught again. That's number 1. Number 1, Martin Holgan. For a touchdown.
It was a seam. It was just a little seam route from the outside receiver, and he got right in that seam between the quarterback, Demetrio Ortega, and Upaw, and he caught it right between them. Great throw by Hart.
Absolutely. Starting to warm up here, I think. So that'll make it 20-0. Just 10 seconds left in the second quarter. West Marshall to line up for the PAT. Dawson Goodman will be the kicker. Goodman's kick sails through the uprights. That'll make it 21-0. West Marshall widening a lead, really putting on the gas here in the late periods of the second quarter.
"11 seconds left in the half. We're going to see a return and maybe 1 or 2 plays from South Tama. Almost a backbreaker when someone scores on you at the end of the half like that. 14-0 seems a little more manageable than 21. See what type of halftime adjustments Coach Doran, Coach Bridgewater can dial up. I'm sure they're going to talk to their guys from the booth.
11 seconds to go. South Tama looking for some special teams magic to get things rolling, but they're facing a 3-score deficit headed into the halftime locker room. Bridgewater and Upaw, the kick returners. So a little more speed than the last couple of times we've seen the return team. And here's the kick. A short line drive. Rolls past the 15-yard line, picked up by Upa. Upa nowhere to go. Knocked out of bounds. Short of the 20-yard line.
Just kind of a little squib kick. Looking to avoid a big return, I'm sure.
8 seconds to go for South Tama. Headed into the halftime locker room here in a few moments.
Well, let's see if South Tama airs it out here one time or two. Bridgewater's going to need a little bit of time, though.
Bridgewater in the shotgun. Papaki in the backfield. Crookshank in motion. A low snap. Bridgewater under pressure. Just tosses it to the right. Really just got pressured there. And
that could have been a bad situation.
Yeah.
That ball was on the ground. Good thing Ethan Crookshank was savvy enough to scoop it up there.
You bet. So that'll take us to halftime, 21-0. South Tama trailing in week 1 of high school football action. We're live from West Marshall High School here in State Center. You're listening to Trojan Country. Welcome into the Gary Box State Farm Insurance halftime show. Darvin Graham and Nate Van Dyke with you here this evening. South Tama trailing by 3 touchdowns here at halftime, 21-0. Let's run through that first half a little bit, Nate. What did you see from that South Tama offense in particular, and what might you hope to see from them in the third?
Yeah, I think, if you go back and after that first possession, it was pretty even for, 3 or 4 possessions between West Marshall and South Tama. South Tama started off a little shaky on that first 3 and out. West Marshall showed up to play right away and scored on their first drive with a run from Hart from 35 yards out. And then both teams kind of punted back and forth a little bit, a couple 3 and outs. We had a big sack from Diego Victor on that 4th down play. Turned the ball back over. No turnovers in the game yet, which is kind of interesting, kind of odd, with a high school football game.
Though there's been penalties, not really many turnovers. You are right. That's been an interesting little wrinkle.
And on South Tama's 3rd drive, they put together a 12-play drive and went 65-plus yards down the field, and it was a steady dose of Bridgewater and Papaki and Crookshank, and they showed that South Tama showed that they can run the ball and get it done on the ground. Haven't seen a ton through the air yet, but we could kind of expect that with the backfield that they have on the field with Bridgewater and Papaki, both kind of bruisers back there. And they've done a little bit of that, and they've been successful. And Crookshank's had a little success around the end on those toss plays when he's been in motion. On West Marshall's 2nd, 3rd, and 4th drive, they were 4 and out, like we talked about before with the Diego Victor sack, but then they had a couple punts, but the last 2 drives for West Marshall both resulting in touchdowns, the one on the ground by Hart and the one on the long pass. I can't recall who had the reception on that, but
Holgan, I think it was.
Two nice passes there for touchdowns, and really going into halftime 14-0 when South Tama was playing pretty close there, but to give up the touchdown with under 2 minutes left in the games hurts a little bit.
All right, quick shout out to our local reporter extraordinaire, Robert Meharry, covering tonight's South Tama action for the Times-Republican and your Tama-Toledo News Chronicle. Hey, if you don't subscribe to your local paper, by goodness, subscribe today. Get a hold of the folks at the Tama-Toledo News Chronicle. Local news. Anyway, you're listening to the Gary Bach State Farm Insurance halftime show, 21-0. The West Marshall Band getting set up here for their halftime performance. And we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back. You're listening to Trojan Country, live from West Marshall Field. We'll be right back after this. We're live. I haven't had any technical problems. I haven't answered in a while. What do you want me to do? I think we're doing shaky on the possessions. You're listening to Trojan Country. It is the Gary Bach State Farm Insurance halftime show, 21-0. South Tama trailing in week 1 against West Marshall. The black and gold West Marshall Trojans making their way back onto the field. We've got about 2 minutes and 40 seconds left to go before we get things rolling. State Farm Insurance. Where can you get good neighbor service and surprisingly great insurance rates? At State Farm, because State Farm agent Gary Bach is your one-stop shop in Tama, Toledo for the service you deserve at the price you want. So stop looking around. State Farm agent Gary Bach is ready to help. Call 641-484-3163 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements. Thanks so much to State Farm for their support. They're our title sponsor for this fall football season for the halftime show, and we can't thank them enough. South Tama with mostly a running performance in the first half will look to adjust in quarter number 3 as players begin to make their way onto the field.
West Marshall looks like they're getting warmed up a little bit. South Tama still making some adjustments. Putting things in perspective, South Tama did some things well. They had that nice drive on their third possession with all the run-heavy offense from Bridgewater, Papaki, and Crookshank. And then putting things into perspective a little bit, West Marshall is a returning state quarterfinal team,
right,
who retained their starting quarterback who rushed for over 1,000 yards and passed for over 700 yards as well. So
that's an asset you can't value high enough probably, is that experience at the quarterback position. South Tama's got a great athlete under center starting this season, but he hasn't had much varsity quarterbacking experience. But no doubt he's going to pick up quick. You've seen him step up as a sophomore in your program, doing great things as a wrestler and on the varsity baseball team as well. Sitting behind the plate is the starting catcher for South Tama this baseball season. A lot to work on, but all kinds of potential for Gavin Bridgewater. Yeah,
he's an extreme competitor. He loves to win. He doesn't like losing. I've seen him. He surprised everyone in wrestling last winter by making it to the state finals. Yeah. He wasn't even on the team as a freshman. He played basketball. So he's a good athlete, super hard worker, but extreme competitor. So I think he's gonna keep figuring things out, and he's going to keep getting better throughout the season.
As we wait for the start of the third quarter, as a Tama Toledo community member, my wife is getting tired of hearing me talk about Quick Star, but Nate, I don't know if you've gone to that new Quick Star.
I went there today.
My gosh.
I went there today for lunch, so I had to check it out. It was a packed house.
Oh my goodness, that thing is so excited. I haven't seen the community that fired up about it's about a gas station, but that thing just looks beautiful. I think I went in there 3 times on their first day. Tried the sushi. You can get sushi in Tama, Toledo for probably the first time ever. And it was pretty good. It was crab, and it tasted delicious. All kinds of stuff over there in Quick Star. An unpaid sponsorship. I love what they're doing. I love to see something nice, and I think it's been a great community thing to happen. Been a great year for a great year for development in our community. You see Berkwood Village and that beautiful facility for assisted living and memory care over there. They get that built up. We got construction going on in downtown Toledo right now, getting one of those infill lots. One that was damaged from the derecho, that's getting filled in with a building as we speak. We got the Quick Star.
Dollar Tree, where the old elementary was. Yep.
Absolutely. So it's an exciting time, I think, to be in the Tama Toledo community, just kind of seeing development happen. Be all kinds of activity, I think, to come over at the juvenile home property in Toledo as the middle school project works its way through its all kinds of things they're going to have to get through to get that thing done. But it's going to be a big project, and I think a big reward for the school once it gets completed.
Absolutely. I agree with everything, Darvin, but I think I'll pass on the sushi. So.
All right. Hey, it was great.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
So thanks again to Gary Bach and State Farm Insurance. You've been listening to the Gary Bach State Farm Insurance halftime show. We're getting ready just moments away from the third quarter kickoff here at West Marshall High School. 21-0.
Hart and Nason back to receive.
And the kickoff picked up by Hart. Open field ahead of him, gets brought down near the 45-yard line.
And it looked like Eddie Garcia kicked that ball off for South Tama.
So a different look from special teams. I think it had been Crookshank on both the PATs and kickoffs, but now a new leg there.
Garcia was a 2-year starter for the soccer team. He's a pretty good defender for South Tama soccer team as well.
There you go.
And there's another penalty on the field. Looks like a hold on West Marshall, so that'll back them up to the 29-yard line. Juan Robles hovering over that ball there, waiting for the West Marshall huddle to break.
1st and 10 for the West Marshall offense on the 29-yard line.
Jeremy Dolash lining up at defensive end over here on our side of the field.
Junior, right?
He's a junior.
Yep.
And he played a little bit of football last year. I think he ran cross country as a freshman, but his body's really matured. He's gotten really strong. We haven't heard too much from him tonight, but hopefully he can get it going here.
Seen a little time in the backfield on the ends. I think he's going to be a contributor, like you said. So we got one in motion and a flag.
Looks like West Marshall tried to line up in trips there, but
little miscommunication maybe, and
see what the
another
referee
penalty.
says.
Opening seconds, or opening minutes, excuse me, the opening seconds of the third quarter here, and we've had a couple penalties to start this thing off. But it's been to South Tama's favor as West Marshall marches back another 5 yards. 1st and 15 now on the 24-yard line.
Just one back with Hart.
Hart in the shotgun.
Trips to the right, little toss.
Gonzalez, the carrier.
And Papaki runs him down.
Papaki got around the ankles. Bridgewater finished off the tackle.
Good angle on that tackle by Rudy Papaki.
Really no gain on the play. That'll bring up 2nd and 15 on the 24 after a couple of penalties. Kind of set things back for West Marshall. But they've been dangerous. We've seen them on the ground, seen them go deep a few times with some success. So plenty to worry about for Coach Nate Dorn and the South Tama defense.
Demetrio Ortega hustles over to the near side of the field.
Hart, quarterback keeper, gets a block but brought down, just covered by Rudy Papaki. He's got his motor going.
And somebody tackled him low before Papaki got there. Looked like number 29, Jacob Youngbear. Nice little read by Youngbear there to get into there and get into the backfield.
Another one of those juniors that are working his way into the varsity ranks. Wasn't a starter tonight, but I think we're going to see his number all around the football field this season for South Tama.
So it looks like Youngbear's playing inside linebacker with Papaki, and they moved Bridgewater to an outside backer position. Bridgewater and Cyrus Mathis are the outside backers.
3rd and 13.
And here's the pass.
Hart getting pressure from Papaki, forced out of the pocket, rolling right, throws it away, no good. Not a receiver in sight for that one. That'll bring up 4th down.
So it's a 3 and out for West Marshall's first possession.
Couldn't ask for a better way to get this half started for South Tama and the Trojan defense. They're going to force a punt.
Coach Doran must have dialed it up at halftime.
There you go.
He's a defensive specialist. He's been the defensive coordinator for quite some time at South Tama before taking over the head coaching reins from Coach Jay Hosky.
Ethan Crookshank deep to receive the punt from Hart. South Tama's front of their punt team kind of moving themselves around. A high snap. Hart barely comes down with it, but gets the punt away. Crookshank will receive just inside the 40-yard line. Crookshank sheds a couple of tackles, but goes down near the 50.
So we've got good field position here for South Tama, starting their first drive of the second half right at midfield.
And we'll see if Bridgewater and company will have any different looks for the West Marshall Trojans as they're going to start their first drive of the third quarter.
Yep, Bridgewater and company. You've got the play caller, the quarterback.
10:03 on the clock, third quarter, 21-0 South Tama trailing after a 3-and-out by West Marshall moments ago. Two receivers off to the far side. Bridgewater in the shotgun. He'll hand it off to Papaki. Papaki into the scrum and has nowhere to go. Covered up for no gain.
And there's a player down for South Tama.
That looks like 69.
Be Nathaniel Palmer as if it's 69.
Starting O tackle.
He's a 6'2", 230-pound senior.
And the trainers will have a look here. While they do so, thank you to all of our sponsors this evening: Appraisal and Real Estate Services, The Pump, Assured Partners in Toledo, Dallas Berm Exit Holes Realty, Gary Bach State Farm Insurance, Mercy Care Tama, Iowa Premium, S&S Car Wash, State Bank of Toledo, and Medicap Pharmacy. Thank you to all those local businesses for their support this season. They're sending us on the road, allowing us to bring you live South Tama coverage this year. And so Palmera is getting attended to here near midfield. And South Tama would have loved to get a little momentum going here in the third, but this injury will slow things down just a touch.
Palmerez, a senior starter for South Tama. He was on the team last year, but I think this is his first season in the starting role. Big, strong athlete.
And he'll make his way to the sideline on his own 2 feet. We'll like to see that. Ball now on the 49-yard line with 2nd and 9 for South Tama. We got 9:51 on the third quarter clock. 21-0 the score. Second and 9 for Bridgewater and the Trojans. As the injured player just gets to the sideline, now South Tama breaks the huddle. A tight formation here on 2nd down. Crookshank in motion, the handoff it'll be a quarterback keeper. Nice deception there. Couple yard gain for Gavin Bridgewater, but stopped short of a first down.
Looked like a triple option. He's either got the option to give it to Papaki up the middle, toss it to Crookshank on the outside, or keep it himself.
So that'll set up 3rd down and 6. Ball on the 46-yard line with 9:13 on the clock. South Tama moving the ball forward here. It's been a slow drive, but still alive. Plenty of time to go in this game, though they're down by 3 touchdowns. And it's Bridgewater from the shotgun. Fakes a handoff. No, it is a handoff that time to Papaki. Bridgewater just got flattened by Hart in the backfield. Papaki moves it ahead maybe a yard, and that'll bring up 4th down.
4th and 6 or 7. Inside the 50-yard line. Here comes Cyrus Mathis bringing in the play. And Upaw coming out.
So another back to add to the mix here.
Upaw must have some equipment issue over there.
Oh, there you go. So it's going to be Papaki to punt.
And it's
A fake punt.
Direct snap to Mathis.
But Mathis is just gobbled up near the 35-yard line. Turnover. South Tama.
Well, it's worth the shot. You're down 21-0. You're around midfield. Not a bad time for a fake punt.
8:22 on the third quarter clock. 21-0. South Tama trailing West Marshall. Live from West Marshall High School and State Center. That'll bring up 1st and 10 now for the West Marshall Trojans on their own 47-yard line. Beautiful night for being out and supporting high school athletics. Bit of a breeze. Almost cool, you might call it, but it's just been as comfortable as you might want it for the first night of the football season.
I don't think you could ask for better weather as a player.
No, absolutely.
Hart takes it up the middle. Looks like he picks up about 9 yards.
Stopped by Dolash. And that will bring about a 1st down for the West Marshall Trojans. No, excuse me, a 2nd and short. 2nd and 1.
You'd like to see South Tama really dig their heels in here.
They've seen some defensive success. We started with a 3 and out to begin the quarter. We've had a couple of bodies, a couple of linemen.
Drops back to Plass, plenty of time.
And Hart overthrows
There's a flag
the intended
that comes
receiver.
out.
A late flag, maybe an pass interference there.
Nolan Upaw on the defense.
And that is going to be Nason on the ground.
And he's down. It didn't look to me to be a pass interference or a late hit, but the flag did come out, so.
Maybe an unsportsmanlike if there was something said after the play.
And it looks like the trainer's stretching out the calf or the hamstring, so maybe just a cramp.
So it'll be a 1st down now for West Marshall. As Nason slowly makes his way off the grass. Maybe just a cramp. He's walking it out all right. 1st and 10 now on the 23.
Coach Doran barking out some orders to his defenders out there.
Carson Davis for West Marshall runs the play out.
Back to their spread offense.
Hart in the shotgun.
Looked like he didn't quite expect the snap there.
And that'll be a penalty. Flag coming from the backfield. False start is going to be called against West Marshall, and that'll move them back for a 1st and a bit longer. 1st and 15 now. Still in South Tama territory, still dangerous. This West Marshall offense has gotten it done in the air and on the ground, led by senior quarterback Peyton Hart. Hart now to receive the snap, a low snap. Fakes a handoff, dumps it up high. That's an interception.
Picked off by
Tama.
Crookshank.
Crookshank still on his feet. Moving to the sideline. Beautiful interception there by South Tama's Ethan Crookshank for the turnover.
You could see when that ball left Hart's hands that it wasn't going exactly where he wanted it to.
That did not look scripted there.
But give credit to Crookshank. He went up and got the ball. There were West Marshall players around.
Yep.
So South Tama gets out of a jam there. They needed a big stop to stay in this game, and they got one by way of an interception by Crookshank, and that is the first turnover of the game.
Wow. Something else. 21-0, South Tama trailing now with a long field in front of them. 7:53 on the third quarter clock. And it'll be Bridgewater. Receivers out wide, quick screen pass. And that looked like Crookshank again maybe, but short gain on the catch.
Gain of 3 or 4 there. Possibly the longest completion of the night for South Tama.
Yeah, it's been all run all night for Bridgewater and Papaki.
Short screens, you'd like to see him fake one of those screens one of these times and go over the top.
Yep.
And they're spreading out a little bit.
Kinzer Jeanette looks like he's getting some action in there. Flag out again.
That might have been the play clock.
Delay of game against South Tama will move the chains, or not move the chains, will move the ball back.
So they tried to get Jeanette in the game, and he was still hustling out to that outside the receiver position when the play clock ran out. I'm sure Kinzer played in the Frosh game earlier.
Sure, absolutely. A close one. South Tama.
Yeah, there was a lead change in the second half.
Yep.
The Trojans, South Tama Trojans, took a lead right away after halftime, and then
there's Bridgewater under pressure, dumps it off to Papaki. Papaki the reception, and
that could be a late hit out of bounds.
Yeah, that Papaki just got thumped when he kind of stopped up near the sideline.
And
no flag though. 6:52 in the third quarter. South Tama has work to do here, but after the interception by Ethan Crookshank, an opportunity now to just get something going and then see what happens.
It's like offensive tackle Damian Benner kind of hobbled off. They're working on his. It's like maybe he's got a cramp as well.
Oh boy.
Not sure who his replacement was.
And now it'll be Bridgewater to keep. Stiff arms one.
And he's
around the side. Bridgewater past the first down and about a 20-yard thundering run down the left sideline. Gavin Bridgewater moves the chains for South Tama. First and 10 now for the Trojans. With 6:43 in the third quarter, the ball is on the 49-yard line now after the big run by Bridgewater. That might maybe close to the biggest play so far from the South Tama offense. Again, maybe that triple option again. This time a pitch.
Toss to Crookshank, not a lot going on. It's wrapped up in the backfield and takes a pretty good hit.
Crookshank gets peeled off the turf. And South Tama will now have a 2nd and 10. No gain on the play.
2nd and 10, I think. Screen, draw. Maybe they'll run that triple option again. Maybe we'll see him put the ball in the air a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. 2nd and 10 now. Bridgewater with Mathis in motion. Bridgewater looks to carry. Goes past one West Marshall tackler. Gets through a second one and takes out the
Well, he
chain
broke a couple
pylon.
tackles, but just barely made it back to the line of scrimmage, so he did a lot of work on his own there. But there must have been – there's a flag on the sideline. Either it's a late hit or bench misconduct. I don't know.
We'll see.
I think the South Tama sideline was looking for a flag, so could have been a late hit out of bounds.
Officials conferring near the South Tama sideline.
Bridgewater did a heck of a job just to get back to the line of scrimmage there.
Yep.
It's either going to be 3rd and long. West Marshall's backing up here.
Penalty against the Trojans.
If it's hit late out of bounds, it's going to be a 1st down.
So that'll be an opportunity now for South Tama as they march into West Marshall territory.
Personal foul.
Personal foul sets up a 1st and 10 on the 34-yard line with 5:36 to go in the 3rd quarter. And it'll be Bridgewater with Crookshank in the backfield. Quarterback keep.
Yep, quarterback ISO. That's a decent little gain there. If you got a ground and pound running offense, that's what you're looking for. 3 or 4 yards of play. But on the same token, if that's your style, you can't have negative plays, you can't have penalties.
No, it narrows things pretty quickly for you, and team, Sadel's going to know what to look for next week for sure.
Tyrus Clegg just came into the game running the play in. He was the quarterback for the Frosh team.
2nd and 6 now after the 4-yard run by Bridgewater on the 30-yard line. South Tama inching their way forward on this drive. And it's Bridgewater up the left.
It looked like a design pass to me, but maybe it was a quarterback draw. Either way, there was bodies in the backfield to meet Bridgewater, but
found
about
another
10
gear.
yards.
Yeah. Move the chains there. 1st down, courtesy of Gavin Bridgewater. South Tama's quarterback getting it done on the ground here.
That's just being scrappy and going to work sometimes.
Absolutely. 1st and 10, South Tama knocking on the door, ball on the 21, late in the 3rd quarter. The Trojans with Crookshank again behind Bridgewater. Bridgewater, a low snap, picks it up, looking to throw, goes downfield. And that's a reception.
Wow, what a catch. Was that Tyrus Clegg?
That was Tyrus Clegg. 2 plays after just getting in the game.
He just got in the game, and he went up over top of that cornerback and just took the ball away.
I tell you, I saw that kid in right field for South Tama make an incredible diving catch for the baseball team this summer. And it's no surprise here that a little athleticism in the air and an undersized receiver at that. He's a pretty slight build kid.
They've got him listed at 145, but I think that might be
generous.
Yeah. Great play, though. Great toss and catch. And Bridgewater just had a little bit of time and got it up to Clegg.
So South Tama on the board, 21-6 here. There's a West Marshall player getting attended to on the far side of the field.
So all of a sudden, South Tama is going to be just 2 scores down. But you got to go back to the first half and think, what if a little bit? West Marshall scored with under 2 minutes left remaining in the first half.
I think if we saw South Tama's defense as we saw it late in the first half, I think if they kind of come ready and have that focus, have that intensity in that first drive for West Marshall, it might just be a 1-score deficit right now.
Yep. So definitely the longest passing play for the Trojans.
21-6 as South Tama's Ethan Crookshank looks to line up for the extra point. Or do we have Garcia on this one?
17 would be Garcia. Eddie Garcia.
So Garcia lines up the PAT.
And Clegg is holding.
And we should also say a nice throw by Gavin Bridgewater on that touchdown. A short PAT. It'll be no good.
Looks like Clegg didn't quite get the hold down in time.
21-6, the score will stay with 4:37 to go in the third quarter.
So if South Tama can hold West Marshall and get another score on the board, we'll probably see him going for two on the next score.
Thank you to Appraisal and Real Estate Services. Licensed agents Mandy Leakin and Jason Leakin in Tama Toledo are the one to count on for all your residential, commercial, and farm real estate needs. For most of us, buying a home is one of the largest investments of a lifetime. Choosing the right professional can save you time and make home buying a smooth process. Call 641-751-3021 to find out how the team at Appraisal and Real Estate Services can serve you. So South Tama to kick off now as they get their first touchdown, courtesy of a throw by Gavin Bridgewater, reception by Tyrus Clegg. Hart and Caden Valinga deep for West Marshall.
Eddie Garcia to kick off again. Now it's kind of interesting that we didn't see Papaki in that last series on offense.
Garcia readies the kick. And straight down the middle. Fades right, and it'll go out of bounds. A flag comes out. Short kick there.
Well, can't kick the ball out of bounds.
1st and 10. It'll be on the 40 for West Marshall. Excuse me, it'll be on the 35. Hard to see if we've got Rudy Papaki maybe getting worked on over on the sidelines. I see one player, but he's kind of covered up.
It looks like Rudy's back in there at inside linebacker.
There you go.
Yep.
1st and 10 now for Hart and the West Marshall Trojans on the South Tama 35. Quarterback keeper to the left. Hart, all kinds of room, a stiff arm, and he'll go out of bounds near the first down marker.
It's like Papaki and Castellanos on the tackle. Castellanos now playing inside linebacker with Papaki. Here comes Young Bear back into the game. Young Bear and Bridgewater at outside linebackers. Looks like they might have an extra player in. No, they got it sorted out.
Now here's Peyton Hart to hand off to Gonzalez. Gonzalez down the middle, drags a pile with him for about a 6-yard gain. And Kyan McBride on the tackle for the Trojans. That'll bring up 2nd down. 2nd and 3.
And Nathaniel Palmerez coming back into the game. He was out injured earlier.
And South, you can hear Coach Doran moving his players around, hollering from the sidelines, a handoff to Gonzalez. He has nowhere to go, driven back by the South Tama interior.
Yeah, Doran gets a little animated over there on the sidelines, but he knows his stuff, and he's a passionate guy. Puts the work in, does all the scouting work, the video review, puts together a scouting report for the players every week, and a lot of times he might know what the other team's going to run before anybody else on the field does.
That brings up 3rd and 2 on the 46 for West Marshall Trojans. And a flag again. False start it'll be on West Marshall. They've had some penalties, really kind of muck things up in the third quarter. 3:08 on the clock here in the third quarter.
So 3rd and short turns into 3rd and 7. Makes it a little bit of a big play here for South Tama's defense.
South Tama looking to get back on offense here after a touchdown reception by Tyrus Clegg a few minutes ago.
Here's that read option.
Oh.
Hart pulls it.
Almost brought down in the backfield, but Hart got free.
Nice stick there by Rudy Papaki in the open field. Now it's going to be 4th and short.
So South Tama contains, but West Marshall.
The offense is on the field.
4th and 1 on the 45. A lot of commotion on both sidelines as
Dolash and Victor switch sides at the defensive end.
now West Marshall ready to go with Hart in the shotgun. He has a lead blocker, going to roll to the left. There's a flag again. He had the first down, but it looks like it might get called back. So if that's against West Marshall, South Tama will want to accept the penalty and retry 4th down. .207 on the clock as West Marshall marches back, holding the call.
Okay, we're repeating 4th down here. 4th and 11.
So that changes the composition significantly after that.
Yeah, West Marshall's going to send their punt team on the field here.
So South Tama on the receiving end of some errors on West Marshall. That'll send Ethan Crookshank deep to receive the punt. More whistles.
Yeah, timeout,
No,
West
timeout.
Marshall. So they get to talk it over a little bit.
Thank you to all of our sponsors this evening who have brought this broadcast live to you at your homes in the South Tama community or wherever you may find yourself here this Friday evening. Thank you to Gary Bach, State Farm Insurance, Mercy Care Tama, Iowa Premium, S&S Car Wash, State Bank of Toledo, Medicap Pharmacy, Appraisal and Real Estate Services, The Pump, Assured Partners in Toledo, and Dallas Berm Exit Halls Realty. So 1:58 on the clock, South Tama on the board here in the third. But it's been slow going. The drives have been interrupted. We've seen several penalties.
And we're going to resume play. Ethan Crookshank back to receive the punt. And it's Peyton Hart back to punt for West Marshall.
Now the punt to be kicked away.
End over end.
Hart boots it out of bounds near the 25-yard line. And now South Tama to have an opportunity with short time left in the third quarter. Mercy Care Tama is a proud sponsor of South Tama County High School sports. The dedicated staff at Mercy Care Tama offer you and your family the highest quality professional care enhanced by the Mercy Touch. Also, thank you to S&S Car Wash. S&S Car Wash provides both automatic and hand wash services as well as detailing for your vehicle. S&S Car Wash, your local car wash destination with convenient locations in Toledo and Tama. Now 1st and 10 for the Trojans. Bridgewater hands off to Papaki. Papaki, a little bit of breathing room, but he'll be brought down well short of a first down. Positive yardage, though, for the senior.
Yeah, nice little initial hole to run through there. Kind of danced a little bit in the hole instead of maybe putting his shoulders down and finishing off the run for another yard or two.
Papaki moving slowly back to the sideline, maybe a little banged up through this game. I think we saw him out for a couple possessions.
Well, any of these guys, Papaki, Bridgewater, Crookshank, when you're getting these many carries, your body takes a beating.
We're seeing the same 4 guys out there all game long. We got another flag as a run will be stopped short, courtesy of the West Marshall defense. We've got 2 different Trojans on either team. We got 2 kids stretching out their hamstrings in kind of a synchronous position.
So if the play stands, it's going to be 3rd and long. There was a flag on the play.
And South Tama's got a player being attended to. Maybe
I
just
think
a
it's
cramp.
Papaki.
Papaki, yeah.
Coach Cord Aarons, the offensive and defensive line coach, comes out to check on the injured player.
Make sure to tune in next week. We'll be live from South Tama Trojan Field. It'll be South Tama against Sadell. Game time slated for 7 p.m. That one's a little different, at least according to my schedule from Varsity Bound. So we'll be live for a pregame show about a half hour before kickoff.
There must be no curtain raiser, no fresh soft game next Friday.
Yeah. Sounds about right. But yeah, you figure maybe a
I
program
think they start at 7:30 if there's a curtain raiser game beforehand. Yeah.
So an early one for South Tama. But make sure to tune in, cheer on the Trojans, as they'll have a competitive matchup against the Eagles from Sadell next week, Friday at 7 p.m. We'll be live from Trojan Field, Trojan Country, bringing you all the coverage here this fall season.
Bridgewater's going to throw it. He's rolling to his right, throwing deep down the field for
Upaw, and it's an overthrown pass. Incomplete.
I think Upaw kind of ran out of room on the sideline there.
A few times we've seen Bridgewater air it out here.
Oh, he had some time there.
He did.
Got him out of the pocket and gave him a little space.
21-6 the score. Less than a minute to go in the third quarter. South Tama driving, but they're in their own territory. 3rd and 11 on the 33. Bridgewater, a low snap again.
And he's
pressured.
Forced to his right this time. He's going to run it.
Bridgewater, all kinds of room, shirks a tackle.
Sidesteps, yeah.
And he'll get brought down near the 50-yard line.
First down. So kind of a broken play.
Absolutely. But Bridgewater has shown great ability to improvise in the open field. First and 10 on the 49 with a running clock under 40 seconds now. Upaw, the receiver on the near side. 3 backs in the backfield. Clegg back into the game in motion. A pitch to Crookshank, though, will go nowhere.
And he was hit as he caught the pitch.
And it looks like that might be it for the third quarter as the clock winds down to 0. The buzzer sounds, and we're going to flip the field for one more quarter of play here in week 1 of the Iowa high school football season. Thank you to Iowa Premium. Iowa Premium brings premium family farm-raised corn-fed Black Angus beef to the market. Expert hand-trimmed every piece of beef. The staff at Iowa Premium hand packs, and they inspect every box to ensure quality. Dedicated to delivering a superior beef product to customers around the world. Iowa Premium, thank you for their support. 2022 marks the 95th year in business for the State Bank of Toledo. Since opening in 1927, the State Bank of Toledo supports its customers with loyal, friendly, and fair customer service. Member FDIC. State Bank of Toledo had a nice little celebration there behind their South County Road branch a couple nights ago. A little family fun with an inflatable, a free meal. Good crowd out there as I went by earlier this week. So congrats to one of our longest tenured, long-standing local businesses, the State Bank of Toledo.
So to start the quarter, South Tama is still very much in the game. They're down 2 scores. Scores 21-6. Could see fatigue play a factor at this point in the game. Everybody on both sides of the ball is probably a little bit fatigued and
a little hammied up.
Yep, guys are getting beat up a little bit, and might be time to get tough.
Now it's going to be South Tama's offense with a 2nd and 18 on the clock. And the officials talking with the sideline here as the chains need some attending to.
This formation that South Tama came out in, you've got Bridgewater in the shotgun. Well, you've got Crookshank, Mathis, and another back all on the right side. I would look for Bridgewater to run a sweep around the right side, and he'll have, if he does, he'll have 3 lead blockers in front of him.
And so the officials still getting things teed up here, and now we're ready for action. 2nd and 18 on the 43. Bridgewater with 2 backs in the backfield. He'll wrap around to the right, all kinds of pressure. He gets free, and he'll go down near the line of scrimmage. Bridgewater slow to get up. He's grabbing his leg there, and he looks like he's in a little bit of pain. So South Tama is starting quarterback getting looked at here near center field. Congrats to the South Tama varsity volleyball team on an opening season win against Grinnell last week, or earlier this week, I should say.
I think it sounds like it's been some time since South Tama beat Grinnell in the sport of volleyball, so kudos to Coach Holtz. Excuse me, Canton wine.
There you go.
Yeah.
And Trojans, I believe, are going to be at home this week, Tuesday, against Montezuma. So not too many opportunities to catch the South Tama volleyball girls at home. They'll have a home tournament later in the season, but a lot of their competition happens on the road. So when you have a chance to get out and support the Trojans at home, come out to the Roundhouse and cheer on the volleyball girls.
So Bridgewater still on the ground, being worked on by the trainer.
Backup quarterback, Dolash, is that right? Or
yep,
no?
Jeremy Dolash.
Okay.
Yep. So Dolash will have to come in at quarterback, and then we'll have to bring a different tight end in there.
And Dolash getting warmed up on the sidelines, so. And we're not really seeing Bridgewater get stretched out. He's kind of laying flat, so it.
Looks like they're working on one of his knees potentially, or one of his, maybe his left leg. And he's a tough kid.
Yeah.
And Dolash continues to take snaps from Medina on the sideline. Bridgewater back on his feet.
So we've seen a host of players, just a little fatigue, a little tightness, kind of stopping up the action tonight. Most everybody's gotten back into the game that's exited, so We hope the same for South Tama's Gavin Bridgewater. He gets to the sideline. And now Jeremy Dolash will have his first action under center with 11:49 on the fourth quarter clock. South Tama puts Cyrus Mathis in motion, but the handoff will be up the middle. Crookshank, I believe, the carrier on 3rd and long. Just a couple yards there.
You think maybe you get a pass on 3rd and long, but you got a new quarterback in who I don't know is taking a snap in a varsity game or a football game before, so maybe you start him off with a running play and kind of calm the nerves a bit.
So that'll set up 4th down now, and South Tama's punt team will boot it away. And West Marshall will have Peyton Hart and Graham Nason, who exited earlier with a little injury.
Papaki back into punt, and he runs a little bit.
A little rugby punt from the senior. Picked up by Hart.
And Hart's got some room, and he makes a few moves.
Peyton Hart just steamrolling his
Finally
way.
gets tackled by Nathaniel Palmeraz, but that's a big return for Peyton Hart.
Through 3 quarters, the player of the game for sure has been Peyton Hart for West Marshall. He's done just about been involved in just about everything for this West Marshall team. And his return now sets up a 1st and 10 for the West Marshall Trojans in South Tama territory. South Tama looking at the clock, needing a stop here so they can try and respond and make this a game.
West Marshall back to the I formation. They'll run an ISO up the right side.
Gonzalez up the middle, tackled by number 72, Juan Robles.
Juan Robles on the tackle. 2nd and 5 for West Marshall. And they're back in that I formation. And the ball. It's a botch
almost
snap.
came loose there. Hart covers it up. It'll stay with West Marshall, but not what you want.
Man, that might have been the break that South Tama needed.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is where it gets tough here. After 3 pretty grueling quarters, although the weather's been favorable and it's not been, a tough atmosphere, been a slow kind of plodding game. A lot of kids playing both ways, and
we don't have many substitutes on the sideline.
Now here's Hart. He's going to look to carry along the left. Hart has room to run, 1st down and more.
Yep.
Looks like about a 20-yard gain for quarterback Peyton Hart.
It's a flag on the field.
Foul.
South Tama is lucky it's a hold on West Marshall. Holding
Against
penalty.
the Trojans, and so South Tama will have, again, another opportunity as West Marshall kind of shoot themselves in the foot here late in
They've had a lot of penalties, haven't they?
Yeah. We've been flush on penalties, short on turnovers.
Yeah.
And just kind of a weird game after what was a blowout in last year's contest at home at South Tama. We've got a relatively close contest here tonight in week 1. 3rd and 15 for the West Marshall Trojans on the 47-yard line. Nason in motion. And it'll be a little reverse there. And that's going to be an open field opportunity. West Marshall's number 18, Caden Valinga, in for the touchdown.
Wow, what a play. So they sent Hart as if he was going to do a sweep around the left side, and he just turned 360 and threw it back to Valinga for a screen across the field. And Valinga broke about 6 or 7 arm tackles from South Tama County. So a 47-yard throw and catch.
Yeah, my goodness. All kinds of names getting in the action for West Marshall tonight. Valinga, Gonzalez, and the PAT by Dawson Goodman is good. That'll make the score 28-6 with 9:09 to go in the fourth quarter. Thank you to Assured Partners in Toledo, your local independent agency specializing in home, auto, business, farm, and crop insurance. The team at Assured Partners in Toledo have been serving the South Tama community since 1948 and continue to deliver innovative products and solutions to meet clients' precise needs. Call 641-351-6976 to learn more. Assured Partners Insurance Agency. 28-6 the score as South Tama just really short on answers here in this second half. Bridgewater up and walking around the sideline, but not in this return package, and we'll see if he's back on the field. He's got his helmet off, so it looks like he might be shelled for the remainder.
Looks like Upaw and is it Kinzer Jeanette back to return for South Tama?
Yep, that's number 21 there.
That's where it gets tough when you start getting a few players injured and
Right.
you have to move people to positions that aren't their first position, and it's hard to get into a rhythm. Expect to see Dolash at quarterback for South Tama.
Upop picks up a kind of a weird bounce there, and he'll get tackled for a loss on the return. So deep in West Marshall territory is where South Tama will begin their next drive. 1st and 10 on the 18-yard line.
South Tama shifting some players in and out. Dolash leading the huddle. With 15 seconds left on the play clock. Cyrus Mathis running in the play. They break the huddle with 6 seconds on the play clock.
Dolash under center for the Trojans. Bridgewater still on the sidelines, and a penalty.
Timeout, South
Timeout,
Tama.
sorry, yeah.
Probably smart, although I think
Yeah.
they got the ball snapped just at the last second.
Yeah.
Timeout, South Tama.
You might know that State Farm agent Gary Bach has great service. Well, he is your good neighbor after all, but did you know that State Farm has surprisingly great rates too? Yep, along with good customer service. State Farm agent Gary Bach has surprisingly great rates for everyone in the South Tama community. So call Gary Bach State Farm at 641-484-3163 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements. Coming out of the huddle. Timeout here. South Tama will line it up again as second string quarterback Jeremy Dolash called upon here in the fourth quarter after Gavin Bridgewater.
Yeah, the offense looks quite a bit different right now as far as personnel than it did to start the game. We got Crookshank in a different position, Clegg in there, Dolash at quarterback.
We don't see Papaki here, so
going a hard count, ball hits the ground. Kind of a drop snap.
So some logistics becoming an issue maybe for South Tama as the new personnel kind of figuring themselves out, which you can't blame them. It's just about the least desirable time you want to try out something new here with a fourth quarter. Everybody's tired.
Absolutely. And these players aren't repping these positions. They aren't the guys repping these positions. It's hard to get into a rhythm, and that chemistry is just a little bit off.
8:25 on the clock. South Tama trailing 28-6 with 2nd and 12. And now a handoff to Crookshank. Up the field for a yard or two. But West Marshall's defense closes the door pretty quickly.
Looks like about 3rd down and 9 yards.
Now South Tama 3rd and 9 on the 21-yard line. Dolash in the shotgun. Another penalty or timeout now.
I was going to say the play clock was starting to run down again. This is the logistics you're talking about. People playing out of position and trying to get personnel in and out. And one player gets injured, and as a coach, you're fishing around on the sideline looking for who the next man in, and
makes it tough for sure. And you know, you want both of these teams wanting just a little flow in the game, a little momentum, and it's hard to do that when some of the components just aren't running like you want them to.
Guys like Tyrus Clegg, Kinzer Jeanette, I'm sure are practicing with the sophomores, fresh soft team for the bulk of practices as well. So it makes it a little more challenging, but let's see how South Tama can finish this game here with still 7.5 minutes left.
Yeah, enough to chew on to kind of make things interesting, but the Trojans are going to have to work quick. But we'll see if they can rise to the occasion here as the players make their way back onto the field after the timeout. 7:34 on the clock, 3rd and 9 will be what South Tama is facing.
Papaki's in the game, but he's over here in the slot position. Crookshank behind Dolash.
So just an entirely
he's
different
running
flavor.
down the field. They're going to throw it
Dolash
in Papaki's direction.
Dolash's throw is short of the intended receiver, and it'll be incomplete, bringing up 4th down.
Dolash had plenty of pressure in his face there as he's trying to throw the ball to his defense.
Right. And maybe you go for it here, although the field position might argue you don't.
Yeah.
9 yards, not what you want either in that kind of situation.
I think you punt it. I think if you give it back to West Marshall here, it could get a little bit ugly. And nice punt by Papaki.
Papaki's punt slipped through the hands of Graham Nason, and it'll go out of bounds. And that will set up the West Marshall Trojans for another drive midway through the 4th quarter.
Yeah, the game's starting to move a little bit slower with the penalties and the timeouts. And
thank you to The Pump. The Pump is Tama Toledo's #1 bar and grill located in downtown Tama at 218 West 3rd Street. The Pump serves up cold drinks, a warm atmosphere, and an amazing lunch on the regular. On September 17, make sure to stop by The Pump during the Tama Toledo Car Show to check out their Best Burger Hamburger Contest. Stop over at The Pump for more details. West Marshall now spreading out wide. On
Read
first
option.
Down. And it's going to be Hart again. Hart has all kinds of room to work, and he might break this one free.
Oh, he got in.
Touchdown, Peyton Hart, West Marshall.
About 3 South Tama defenders got their hands on him, but it wasn't enough to grab a uniform or put a shoulder on him. And he kind of backed his way into the end zone.
Right.
Is that about a 55-yard touchdown run for Hart?
Pretty close. That'll set up an extra point attempt for Goodman. Trojans with 7:12 on the clock to try and salvage what's left of this game here. Goodman's kick sails through. That'll make it 35-6.
So that's Hart's 3rd touchdown run of the night, I believe. And he's got 2 through the air as well.
That's the kind of performance you expect to see from an accomplished kind of two-way quarterback. But it's been effective here against South Tama, and it's been all the Trojans can do to kind of to answer.
He's scored from 25 yards out on the first drive. Had a short 3-yard touchdown run later in the first half. And then that was a 55-yard touchdown run. So 3 touchdowns runs on the ground from Hart, 2 in the air. Most recently being to Valinga on the screen from 47 yards out.
And though the score's widening here, but with all these penalties that we've seen, South Tama's kind of peppered in some longer plays, but not really able to put together a drive. Just kind of 1 or 2 things here and there. Then the injuries come, and it's really kind of completed the narrative for this game.
Yeah, South Tama's shown that they compete. They can compete, that's for sure. They've had a few good things happen.
The kick from West Marshall.
Crookshank on the return.
Ethan Crookshank heading east and west, gets dragged down. Might have been a loss on that carry. And South Tama will start near the 15-yard line, maybe the 13, somewhere in there.
At the South Tama 15-yard line.
So 7:07 on the clock. Now for West Marshall. For South Tama. As the Trojans just looking to answer, to build something here. Dolash still in the game for South Tama under quarterback. And a penalty will prevent things from proceeding. And a delay of game. A few of those tonight against South
trying
Tama.
to get the right personnel in. And
yeah.
So here we go. We'll try it again.
1st and 15 for the Trojans now on their own 10-yard line.
Dolash gets the play from Upa. Still got Crookshank in the backfield. Castellanos at fullback.
Mathis in motion. The pitch off to Crookshank. Crookshank dances around the middle, but really nowhere to go. A swarm of West Marshall defenders covers him up.
Maybe a gain of 5. Makes it 2nd and 10, 2nd and 9, it looks like.
So So the Trojans recover from their penalty, but still plenty of work to do. Dolash now with another, we got a new face in the backfield for South Tama. That was number 25, Cody Blocker, working in motion.
Yep, he's a sophomore as well. He had a good game in the Frosh game. Clegg at quarterback and Cody Blocker at the running back position.
Castellanos runs the play on. 5:46 on the clock. It'll be 3rd and 6 for the South Tama Trojans. Ball on the 18-yard line for Dolash and company. Dolash, a handoff to Crookshank.
And he is smothered in the backfield. He got tackled about as soon as he received the ball there. Brings up 4th and 9 for South Tama. So they're going to run Papaki back on to punt the ball away.
Number 17, AJ.
Rudy Papaki near the goal line, set up to punt. Nason and we got another delay of game here, maybe.
It's an offsides. It looked like it might have been on the defense, but the offense definitely could have jumped. Either way, it's not going to change too much. I think South Tama still punts. Yeah, it was on the defense.
Gives him a little padding to work with.
Yeah, I guess so. He's out of the end zone anyways, isn't he?
4th and 5 now for Papaki and the South Tama offense. Papaki with a wrap on his right or his left knee there. You kind of wonder if
that is a nice spiral.
Yeah, a lot of
booming punt.
And Hart almost coughs it up.
Hart falls on it.
But he will maintain possession for the West Marshall Trojans.
Heck of a punt by Papaki.
Yeah, really nice looking punt. You can tell he's grown. Unfortunately, had plenty of experience working through that part of his game last season, but he was the sole punter last year and adds that as an asset to this South Tama team.
So West Marshall's offense going to take the field here after 3 straight 3-and-outs for South Tama. Having a little trouble getting things going here in the 4th quarter. 4 minutes and 43 seconds remain.
Still the starters in for this West Marshall unit. And another whistle and another flag. False start against West Marshall. And more penalties for the black and gold.
I'm kind of curious to see how many hills or sprints the West Marshall team has to run in practice this week. After.
It's pretty flat around here, but I bet they can find one or two.
I don't know how many penalties they've had, but it's a lot.
Yeah. 1st and 15 now. High snap brought down by Hart. Hands it off to Gonzalez. Gonzalez, plenty of open room to work. Up the sideline, 1st down.
He'll get about 15 or 20 yards on the run.
Crowd calling for a late hit.
Jacob Youngbear almost got to him in the backfield.
And that'll move the chains. No flag after the play. 1st and 10 for the West Marshall Trojans. Into South Tama territory they are now.
4 minutes and 35 seconds left in the game. West Marshall leads 35-6. 1st and 10 for West Marshall.
Quarterback keeper, a faked handoff by Hart. Hart going to move down the sideline. And he just pushes his way.
And we've got a flag. Looks like maybe a late
extracurriculars after the whistle.
Personal foul on the out of bounds line.
Nolan Upaslo getting up, but he's going to trot off the field there.
So it looks to be a late hit out of bounds. Both teams look like they're exchanging words a little bit though after the play. And the referee's still talking it over out near the sideline.
4:25 on the fourth quarter clock here as we get this week 1 contest nearing a close. South Tama really with short time and not too much left to work with here as West Marshall has been pretty dominant, but this Trojans team has not been any kind of a juggernaut, I would say. What I've seen tonight has been a handful of pretty athletic, pretty talented players and a unit that's just kind of figuring themselves out in terms of all these penalties and kind of the team play goes. But a long season ahead will give the Trojans plenty of time to work themselves out.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed by Peyton Hart at the quarterback for West Marshall. He's had himself a fine game, and now he's ran that read option several times. I don't know if it's a true read, if his coach gives him the option whether to keep it or to give it, but.
1st and 10 now. Hart, the handoff, up the middle. And a short carry for, now I'm not sure who got the carry on that one. It looks like Jace Ike maybe. He's coming off the field. 2nd and 4 now with 4 minutes to go in the fourth.
I formation for West Marshall.
Gonzalez, the ball carrier. Brought down by Robles and Kinzer Jeanette.
So there's been a few sophomores getting some playing time tonight with.
Yeah, it's been a.
Jeanette, Clegg, Blocker was in there a little bit. South Tama was using everybody.
3rd and 1 for the West Marshall Trojans.
Hart's just going to sneak it.
Yeah, he's had it all. They've had that all game long, and they'll convert for the first down. So West Marshall's been marching themselves down the field here, trying to tack on another touchdown before the conclusion of this cross-county.
Robles hustles off. It's like Miguel Medina, the offensive center, coming in at nose tackle for South Tama.
Daryl Hill also into the game for the Trojans. 1st and 10 now, ball on the 20. For Hart. Bubbled snap. Hart picks it up, running left, getting tracked down from behind, but Hart wins the foot race.
And Jacob Youngbear might have just got a piece of his ankle, but Hart gets in.
Touchdown, West Marshall.
So make that his 4th rushing touchdown. He's also thrown for 2.
You wonder, maybe now that might be the last we might see of Peyton Hart and some of these West Marshall starters as they've really opened things up here in the second half.
And I think he's going to lead some stat columns here.
Yep.
So he scores from about 15, 20 yards out there.
PAT by Goodman. I think it almost knocked off the crossbar, but it's in for an extra point. 42-6 the score. South Tama trailing And although I think I remarked earlier in the game, this looks a little different than that first contest, where it's kind of shaping up to.
Yeah, it was a 2-score game deep into the third quarter. And just kind of, South Tama's just got it kind of piled on there in the fourth here late. So would you say the score looks a little bit worse than what a majority of the ball game was?
Yeah, absolutely. With the work got done in the second half. Like we said earlier, the Trojans, South Tama has been competitive in moments. In the last few years, there's been times where that has not been the case, and they've kind of just gotten run over by some teams. And I think plenty of ingredients to work with here as Coach Dorn and South Tama head back to the drawing board and get ready for week two against Sadell.
Yeah, and we'll see how West Marshall does coming down the remainder of the season. They were in the state quarterfinals last year.
And so a kick coming here from West Marshall. Low kick picked up
Pablo Montez
by Pablo. Yeah, Pablo Montez, senior, getting a look here on special teams.
Pablo Martinez tackled by Garcia and Water. It'll be 8 and 10 South Tama.
Okay, so South Tama will start right around the 19-yard line. Just under 2.5 minutes left in the game.
7-10.
Trojans maybe one more opportunity for a drive here, unless we see a quick score by West Marshall if they get the ball back. But a learning opportunity for some of these second stringers.
South Tama is going to take another timeout to get personnel organized.
Thanks once again to our sponsors with Trojan Country here this fall season. Appraisal and Real Estate Services, The Pump, Assured Partners in Toledo, Dallas Berm, Exit Holes Realty, Gary Bach, State Farm Insurance, Mercy Care Tama, Iowa Premium, S&S Car Wash, State Bank of Toledo, and Medicap Pharmacy. Make sure to patronize your local businesses as you're out and about this weekend. Coming out of the timeout, it'll be 1st and 10 for South Tama, nearing the 2-minute warning. And make sure to tune in next Friday. We'll be going live around 6:30, 6:45 for a pregame show. South Tama taking on Sadell. It'll be an early kick around 7 o'clock, according to our schedule. But we'll have all the live action from South Tama Trojan Field next Friday night. A handoff up the middle will have South Tama.
Might have been Cody Blocker
that time. Yeah,
getting
25.
a touch there.
Gain of 1.5 yards maybe, bringing up 2nd and 8.
Number 55. Sawyer on the tackle.
So it looks like South Tama's getting a little reorganized here. But Dina comes out at center, first to break the huddle every time. Upaw out wide.
Dolash with 3 backs in the backfield. A bobbled snap, and it'll be a tackle in the backfield as Dolash has no other recourse but to just fall on the ball and save the possession.
Third and 13. 1 minute. We're nearing 1 minute left in the game. Pablo Montez running in the play to Jeremy Dolash. Upaw once again out wide.
Under a minute to go here. South Tama Jeremy Dolash pitches off to the right. Looks like that was blocker again.
Yep. And the clock's winding down to 30 seconds.
South Tama going to fall to 0-1 headed into week 2. West Marshall will start 1-0 on the back of their star quarterback, Peyton Hart.
Yeah, what a game for Hart tonight. 4 rushing touchdowns,
Yeah.
2 in the air, so 6 total touchdowns.
And that will do it from West Marshall High School field. Final score, South Tama 42. No, excuse me, West Marshall 42. South Tama 6.
As a reminder, next week, West Marshall will be at Nevada.
And so to run through what we saw here in this game, it was, like you said, Nate, the Peyton Hart show from both halves. South Tama got a score in the third quarter. It was a pass play. Bridgewater connecting with Tyrus Clegg in the end zone. Maybe a 20, 25-yard pass. I don't know, what did you have down there?
21. They were on the 21-yard line, yep. Yeah, no, some bright spots for South Tama. South Tama put 2 or 3 solid drives together, 1 or 2 in each half. Like I say, conditioning late, and when you don't have as many bodies to sub in, it gets a little chaotic in the huddle, trying to move people around outside of their natural positions that they're working on every day in practice. But
Yep.
There were some sophomores that got some playing time. I think everybody, the entire team was on the field, and I really think South Tama competed with West Marshall.
Yep.
In the second and third quarter, well, probably the first quarter and the third quarter mainly.
Yep, absolutely.
And then it just got out of hand a little bit at the end.
So thanks once again to our sponsors, Appraisal and Real Estate Services, The Pump, Assured Partners in Toledo, Dallas Berm, Exit Halls Realty, Gary Bach, State Farm Insurance, Mercy Care Tama, Iowa Premium, S&S Car Wash, State Bank of Toledo, and Medicap Pharmacy. All right, Darvin Graham and Nate Van Dyke with you here live from West Marshall Field. Any final thoughts, Nate, before we sign off?
No, I think both teams have a little bit of work to do.
Yeah,
to be honest,
absolutely.
West Marshall can't be super excited, especially with the penalty situation, and the Trojans of South Tama. They're gonna go back to the drawing board and put things in perspective. Who knows how good the West Marshall season is going to turn out, but they were 9-2 a year ago, and there's a lot of football left to be played. So
There is, absolutely. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in this evening. We will see you next Friday live from South Tama Trojan Field as South Tama takes on Sadell. Kickoff at 7 p.m. We'll be live for a pregame show around 6:30. Tune in live from Trojan Country on Facebook or STC Trojan Country on YouTube. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next week.